We only know one way to go, and that's forward and relentless with it. We will not stop. We cannot stop. We have too much momentum, and we have dedicated our lives to the truth and nothing but the truth. Not the lies that we've been told, not the things that they try to entertain us with, to brainwash us with, but to stick to the truth that we know, and there's only one truth. Many lies that look like the truth, but only one truth. And usually, as we know, the conqueror tells his story and wants us to believe it, but it's not the truth. And
That's
like we
right.
say in the title, who they really are has been revealed. Many of us have saw it from before, but the world is awakening. And one of the brothers in the world that I know that I spoke with the other day that has been on before and you've been asking for him is here, and it's Brother Ison. And we're going to vibe tonight. We're going to let him do most of the talking. You know I'm talkative, but I'm going to be right here with him in a wonderful conversation, and we're going to nail it like we always nail it. Another classic conversation with Brother Ison, and to throw out the energy out into the universe that the enemy on all levels, on a mental, physical, and spiritual level, can't stand. So one of our bombs here that's going to win this battle and win this war is our secret weapon that's not so secret, Brother Ison. Brother Ison, that you're here.
It's an introduction.
Yes, right. Of course. It's befitting
right.
of a king. It's befitting of a warrior that you are. See, you know, we have many battles in the world and ways of fighting. And just like the art of war, you strike with speed. You strike unexpected. You leave the opponent bedazzled. And this is one night that we're going to do that, brother. So, yes. Let's let it flow, brother. Welcome back to the show, which is your home. This is your home. You're not a guest here, man. This is your home. When you go to the home of a cousin or a brother or somebody in your family, you don't have to ask permission to go to the refrigerator. You don't have to ask for permission to take the car and go to the store. You can go and lay down and do whatever you want to do. We'll leave out the house. We trust you because we're the same blood, we're the same DNA. So yeah, we're going to do it, man.
Appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, and could you imagine how I talk in my sleep? But go ahead, brother. Let's talk.
You do this. You do this. So you already know. But yeah, first thing I want to hit on is this. You know, the main topic right now is the pandemic and all of this type of stuff. Now, stop me if
we're going to use code words with that.
Yeah, we're going to use code words. So I'm going to call it.
Come at me. They're looking for that. You know what I mean?
I'm going to call it the stab. I'm gonna call it the stab.
Okay. Beautiful. Good. Right. Got it.
So for everybody listening, I'm just use stab as a code word so y'all know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, because I don't want the algorithms to go off. But yeah, that's been the main thing right now. And they were reporting that last month was the hottest July ever recorded in history. So a lot of people were, wondering why it was so hot, because the sun heats up. Like I said, we are the sun, right? So as consciousness awakens and as your awareness arises, the sun gets hotter. But it's not a regular heat, it's a spiritual heat. So what you was experiencing last month is the consciousness is so high, they're trying to put us back to sleep. So this is why they call the variant Delta. They call it a Delta variant. Delta is dealing with different brain waves. When you're in your deep sleep, they call that the Delta wave. So they're saying they want to put you back to sleep with the Delta variant. You see what I'm saying? This is just code words. Code words, but it's basically saying we have arisen our consciousness, and they can't take it. So now they're trying to put us back to sleep. So
let me interject, man.
Yeah.
7 minutes into the show, which a minute or two of music, you dropped it on us already. Said some people have shows for 5 hours and can't get to that point. I'm shutting up. Man. Feed me.
Oh my God!
Well, it's needed. It's needed right now because, like I said, we're the number one target. And when I say we, you know who I'm talking about. But this is really serious. It's coming to the countdown. That's why they had the app. It's called TikTok. TikTok, it means that they're running out of time. You see what I'm saying? So they got these apps and these things out now, but they're trying to censor the truth. So we're really at a pivotal phase because, like I was telling you, I don't know, I think we did a show a few years ago, and I was saying how certain people are at a negative birth rate. So now it'll never go back to the majority. So this is what this attack is about. It's about population reduction and a lot of other things that people are scared to even talk about it now. That's how crazy it is right now. They don't even want you to speak on this type of information.
Now those things you can talk about freely, which we can talk about everything freely. We just use that code word for the C19 called the stab.
The stab.
Flow. Don't hold back, man. Put ketchup on the fries and salt on the burger and let's eat.
For sure. But yeah, it's a big attack. Also, the CDC put out a zombie apocalypse preparedness. Now, what people didn't understand about that was, I believe they're just letting you know what's going to happen. So it's like saying, look, we told you, because from what I've heard, it's something called the software of life. If you type in software of life on Google, it'll take you to the Moderna and a couple other websites, and it tells you that there's nanotechnology in the stab. So they're telling you it's software, but you got to get all 4 stabs. Once you get the 4th stab, you have the complete operating system inside your body, and it can connect up to quantum computers. Now, how do I know this? Because they already had this technology out for the last 11 years, and it was called smart dust. So if you do your homework and you check these words out, you're going to see this has been out here for a while, but they're trying to get it in your body. That's the whole point. So we're really under warfare right now. And it's been such a rising in consciousness like never before. So it's like they got to get it back, reel it back in. So that's what we're dealing with, and that's what I want to start off hitting those points, because it's very important. It's very important because we are the main targets. You know what I'm saying? Our heart keeps this matrix, this system alive. So without us, there is no, you know what I'm saying? There's no continuing the system.
Right.
So yeah, I was considering going to the motherland as well, because you know how they messing with the food and everything like that. But it was actually good last year, because I remember talking with you some years before, and we were talking back. This is before you went, and we were talking about how people need to go back to nature, and people need to get back to talking with family and getting off the internet and having more natural connections with each other. Well, that happened last year when they shut everything down. So what ended up happening is, because they shut everything down, people started thinking, right? So our schedules are such that they give you a lifestyle, especially in America. You don't have enough time in the day to even think. You know what I'm saying? You're going to work, you're going to school, you coming home, you got kids, you got bills, you got all these things. You be wore out, and that's another strategy. But because of the lockdown last year, people started thinking, and they were saying, "Man, yo, this is making a lot of sense." You know what I'm saying? So now they got a whole issue, basically saying you can't even talk about certain topics. Think about that.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's their platform, but we can do it face to face. But if it's like a kid in the elementary school classroom that's whispering something, and the teacher really don't like the kid, but they want the kid to shut up, even though that kid that they don't like is brilliant, but they have their own teacher's pet. So you can't talk about this because they'll shut you down. And they actually shut me down early in the year because of that. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Organization has such a hold on YouTube and Twitter and other social media platforms that it's written in the community guidelines of YouTube, and they don't like, how can they just step forward and want to censor you like that? But they do that. And when they got me in December and twice in March, but it threw me off the first half of this year, and they laid on me, man. Like when you're wrestling and you try to make the person tap out, but I didn't stop putting up content. I would not. There were certain really good shows that we put up that got about 400 hits, 500 hits. And remember, I'm not into the hit thing. I don't care if it's 2 people, as long as they get the information and run with it. Now they can run with it, but that was very strange. But the World Health Organization has gotten with social media, and you cannot speak about what's fake and what's real, or you can't speak about, so you can do it in a certain way, and you got to put up all of these disclaimers and they can still get you. But they watch the ones they already struck. So on this channel, it's like I'm that class clown. It's like one more time and you out of here. And they take all my content down, everything. So this is why I got to jump through extra hoops to keep my content independently on other video hosting sites, and therefore on LanceScurv.com.
Yes.
So I got smart with the whole thing. A little extra work, but I got smart. And
no, that's great.
I want to say, let's throw some positive energy, you know, for her sister. And I want to thank you for the love you showed me the other day. But we have to come together stronger and communicate. And I'm going to develop certain things to make it that way. But we have to stick on each other. Forget the rest of the world who wants to fight with you and say you're crazy and you're wrong for planning what you want to do, whatever it may be. It may not be for everybody to come to Africa. You got South America, you got Brazil, you got all these different places. Wherever you find yourself, we still need to come together. We need to, even though the thing can be shut down, we need to hold on to some emails and phone numbers and certain things. And those things can be shut down also. But we need to know with people who are in our circle, who have earned our trust, and we know we're going to have to share where we live. This is not for everybody. Right. Because I'm going to say this other thing also, I'm going to shut up. There's a big interest. That's hard to do. But there's a big interest for a lot of people that come out here. They want to ask around, where does Scurv live? But they'll never call me and say, hey, can I meet you, whatever. They come all the way out here and start asking people, where does he live? Yeah. Start doing that. Look, I got little birdies out there who let me know. You ain't never going to know that. And why? Why you want to show up on the front door? If we cool, eventually you'll get there. But why the big push to find out where I live? No, I don't live nowhere then. You ain't never going to know. You know what I'm saying? There's all kind of information gatherers out here when you're doing certain things. And it's like, man, I feel like I'm selling drugs, man. I look over my shoulder and, you know, people coming at you. But see, it don't bother me because that's in my DNA, not to sell drugs. But we know and we can sniff the enemy around us. And our intuition, living righteously, is always going to vibrate strong. So you'll always have the upper hand. I can smell the enemy. That's right. And that's how it happens. Go ahead. Do your thing, man. Do your thing. I'm hyped. Go ahead.
It's all good. I'm saying, no, it's true. You have to watch your enemy. Like they say, keep your enemies closer than your friends. The reason is you got to know what your enemy's doing. If you don't know what your enemy's doing, you see what I'm saying? Then that leaves you open. You know what I mean? Because while you're not paying attention, they're doing this and that. So it's nothing wrong with being private. There's nothing wrong with not sharing all your information, because you don't want to let something in that could harm you, or if not harm you, annoy you or cause you a issue. You know what I'm saying? So that's just being smart. That's just being smart. You know what I mean? Because I've had to deal with certain individuals in the past, and you know, it's a hassle once you tangled up with somebody and you find out they a bad apple. Because now you gotta do all this extra stuff, where if you just nipped it in the bud, you know what I mean, it would have been done with. But
well, see, remember what I told you in our last conversation. I had to deal with that bad apple.
That's right. No, that's right. You sometimes
in the same bag with me and had to
be right under your nose sometimes.
Exactly.
So that's why you got to keep the grass cut low.
But exactly. But guess what? That's a favor done because I can fly lighter and my blade is even more sharpened. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you just move on and continue with your mission. Never let anything discourage you from your mission when you know it. To hell with all people who fall off. You got to stay focused. Don't ever let anybody stop you from doing what you have to do. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm 100% with you. It's all about knowledge. Knowledge is power, but knowledge is potential power. Applied knowledge is power. But you see what I'm saying? That's the key people don't think about. It's like, if you have the knowledge but you don't do nothing with it, then it's just potential. But sometimes you have to go through those learning experiences. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to get nicked up a little bit just to learn. But if you get nicked up, you shouldn't get nicked up again. That's the whole point. So sometimes you go through these things so the next time you're like, you know what? I did that before. I know not to do that. I know not to do this. You know what I'm saying? And it's only people talk about making mistakes. There is no mistakes if you learn from them. If you learn from your mistake, it's not a mistake. It's a lesson. It's something that taught you something for the next time. But if you do the exact same thing that you got burned for, that's a mistake. Because I mean, you learned nothing. You got hurt or you got a negative consequence and you did the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it. There's no failure until you don't learn.
Right.
That's the failure. Right. And you got to get rid of the ego, because a lot of people, they don't want to make mistakes because of their egos. Like, oh, I don't want to look vulnerable. No. You need to make that mistake early. Make that mistake early so that you can get it out the way and know what not to do. Because otherwise, if you go too long, it's just like a fighter, right? You've seen those fighters that come out and they undefeated and they never took a loss.
Yes.
Okay. If they go too long and they finally do take a loss, all of a sudden it looks like they just start losing because they never dealt with
the different styles of fighting that they could have conquered and learned early. They weren't real long.
Right, but they never dealt with a loss.
Yes.
So it's like you want to get those losses out the way. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I say, the loss is when you don't learn. That's a loss. If I go out and I get burned and somebody do me wrong and I go back and do the same thing, that's a loss. That's a loss. But if I say, wait a minute, let me look at this situation and realize how I was taken advantage of. Now I'm learning. You know what I'm saying? But that takes the ego. Like I said, people don't want to feel like they got duped or like they got manipulated or whatever. But we all human. You know what I'm saying? We all human while we in these bodies. So you just gotta, you know, it's part of the lesson. Sometimes I'm grateful for when things happen, because I'm saying sometimes you won't see things until you test them, right? If you around people and everything's so great and everything, you never know how they'll act if things are not good. Sometimes you want to see what a person will do when things are not good or when they're not going to get that benefit. You see what I'm saying? Because once you see that, then you say, oh, wait, they didn't have my back. They was only riding it when it was good. So you want to see these things. You want to see these things to get them out of the way, you know, because I've dealt with that. And it's just a learning lesson. So, yeah, I take it like that, and that's the mindset you should have. You know what I mean? Every mistake, I I've made has helped me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just that's how I see it. That's how I see it. Some of my greatest learning lessons have been through negative experiences. Because when you get burned, see, when you have a great experience, you don't think about it. When you get burned, you're like, hey, wait, that hurt. You know what I'm saying? It makes you back up. It makes you think about things. So, you know, like I said, we all human, but you just gotta have that mindset going forward. Because sometimes you can have too big of a heart. Sometimes I've done that. You have so big of a heart that you let everybody in your life, and you can't let everybody in your life. You just can't.
That's right. That's right.
True. That's
you know
true.
what I mean? Because they will take advantage, or it's people that they have jealousy in their heart. It's people that have all kind of things, and they hide them. But like I said, you'll see, it's just like when you cut the light on. If it's roaches or bugs or whatever, you cut the light on, you see them. Then they go running. You see what I'm saying? They go running when the light on. So that's what I'm saying. You got to test a little bit to see what a person would do. But yeah, I'm thankful for all the negative cords I've cut with people, because it just showed me in the gate, wow, what if I, look how long this person might have been around me and I didn't even know their real intentions. That's scary to think about. You know what I'm saying? When you look in retrospect, you're like, wow, I thought, such and such, but hey, I'm grateful I see it. You know what I mean? So that's how I take that. But on a lighter note, on a positive note about this whole situation going down, I'm glad to see, especially the young people, waking up. It would take for this system to shut down for us to wake up. We've always been the most oppressed people in this country. We've been public enemy number one.
Right.
So if it's working, see, people say the system is broken. The system ain't broken. It's working for the people it's working for. It's not working for us. So we need for it to break for us to get another chance to build anew. You see what I'm saying? And this is a great thing. It's a new beginning. It's a new beginning. And I love it because people have been asking for this. We've been suffering so long. And this gives us a chance to start fresh. You know what I mean? I wouldn't care if they cut the internet, because people are saying they're going to have a cyber attack, right? If they cut the internet, that's great. Now you can go back outside. You see what I'm saying? If they cut the internet or the TV or whatever, now you can go talk back with your family in person, face to face. Now you can get back in touch with yourself, you know what I'm saying? And think of things on your own instead of always watching TV and letting the TV give you what to think and give you what to feel and give you what to believe. True. You know what I'm saying? True. Because anything you don't use, it atrophies.
Go back to reading books.
Go back to reading. Go back to drawing.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to using your imagination, because that brain, that faculty has atrophied when you don't use it. When you watch TV, see, I watch TV. If I'm watching TV, I'm watching a movie, but I don't watch the free TV. All the free TV is programming. That's the reason why they charge you for movies, because the movies tell you the truth in a visual form, but you got to do your homework. Exactly. It's like doing the homework. So it's like when you go to school, the teacher might put the lesson on the board, but they say you got to go do this. You got to do your homework to understand it. So that's the same as people in school. They like, oh, I don't feel like doing my homework, whatever. Well, when you watch these movies, you got to go decode the movie later. Don't just watch it and, oh, it was good. You got to decode what they're saying, because they're speaking to you. These movies are speaking to you in the highest language, which is visual. But you got to go do the homework and figure out, what does this mean? What does this mean? You see what I'm saying? And once you see it, you'll never go back. But touching back what I was saying.
Yeah. They hide everything in the movies.
Yes. They hide it in plain sight.
Yes.
They hide it in plain sight. What's the best way to hide something from somebody? Give
right
it to
in front of them. Exactly.
If I give you something, you'll never look for it. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. So, that's true.
So they tell us, we're going to do this to you. See, if movies were in audio, you would be like, wow, for real? Because these movies are saying, look, we're going to do this to you. We're going to
true.
do this to you. We're going to do that in the future. They're telling you that, but in a visual form.
Yeah.
But people don't see that. So that's what I'm saying. If they cut
Or
this,
you know what? When they see it,
mm-hmm.
it's too fantastic. It's too
Right.
unbelievable. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you're looking at it, your mind is saying that shit can't happen. That is not going to happen. No,
Exactly.
that's just movies. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So we
Yeah.
dismiss it.
Yeah, you're right. And the fascination of the eye with all the
Mm-hmm.
graphics and the special
Yeah.
effects, it
Yeah.
makes you think, oh, this is too, like you say, fantastical. This won't
Mm-hmm.
happen. But like I said, go back and look at some of these movies. Go look at Enemy of the State with Will Smith. When that movie came out, none of that stuff was here. But they had it all in the movie. Now we go look at that movie. That technology is obsolete now.
Yeah.
So they got a movie called Minority Report with Tom Cruise. Y'all need to go check that out if you haven't seen it. It came out a little while ago. I don't know, maybe 2000. It was in the early 2000s, maybe 2005, 2000 something. But
yeah,
in the movie, it's called Pre-Crime. Now, when you're watching this, especially back then, you're like, oh, this is just a movie. They can't. But they were basically saying in the future, they would keep tabs on people to predict their behavior if they were a risk for committing a certain crime in the future. So they would try to arrest people beforehand based on tracking them. Now, that sounded crazy back then. But if you look at how now they're trying to get everybody tracked and they're trying to get everybody, you know what I'm saying, chipped up and all this stuff, you got to ask yourself, are they telling, you know, how many zombie movies have we seen where it's the ones that are not infected versus the zombies?
Yes, indeed.
You see what I'm saying? What somebody in the comments say, I Am Legend. Yes, I Am Legend. And guess who the main character was in I Am Legend? A black man. You see what I'm saying? So they tell us these things and we just, first of all, they put it out so much earlier that by the time it happens, you might have forgot. So they might put something out 10, 15 years before it happens. But in the back of your mind, you're like, wait a minute, you know what? I kind of seen something like this before. I just can't remember.
Yeah.
Because it's going in your subconscious mind. But yeah, if they cut this would be the greatest thing ever. Because the TV is the virus. You want to talk about the TV is the virus. Because the TV is infecting your mind and not allowing you to go within. And that's the issue that we're having. We're not allowed to think on our own. Everything's influencing you. So the word advertisement, we so used to hearing it, right? If we desensitize. But advertisement means to divert your attention or advert your attention. So it means that we're constantly being diverted away from your own thinking. And this is what we become accustomed to. So you got to cut the TV off, you know, and if you got kids and things like that, this is the best time for that. You know what I'm saying? Spend time with your kids. Know your kids. If you got kids and they're past the 8th grade, I hate to break it to you, but you don't know your children. Because when they go to school and they come back, they're not telling you what's going on. And you're too busy to really know. And if they don't feel comfortable enough to talk to you,
That's
guess what?
it. That's
you see what I'm saying? And you living in the house with a stranger because they don't want to talk about these issues. You need to talk about things with your kids right off.
Even the uncomfortable stuff.
Even because if you don't, see, we're not in the 80s no more. We're not in the 70s no more. See, what happened, people, especially like baby boomer generation, we have fooled ourselves. Listen, this is the real, today, real life is this. If you don't tell your child and you don't talk about things with them right now, guess what they're going to do behind your back? It's something called Google. Something called the internet. So if you tell them something, you can't even lie to them no more. If you lie to them, guess what they're going to do? They're going to say, oh, okay, yeah, okay, mom, okay, dad, yeah, okay, I believe you. And they're going to go behind your back and they're going to Google it. And they're going to check your answers.
That's right.
They're going to check your answers. So you might as well.
Fact check time.
Yes. See what I'm saying? Because they want to know and it's available. We didn't have that. We didn't have that at a certain point. But I'm saying it doesn't make sense. It's better for you to talk with your child about sex. It's better for you to talk about your child about how to defend themselves, about how, if they get lost, how to find their way home without a cell phone, or how to survive, how to make a fire in the wilderness, in the woods, or if how to prepare food, how to do things, you know what I'm saying? Because we at a point now, I mean, if it wasn't for the elders, I know for a fact people couldn't survive. We don't have basic survival skills.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? If you look at the white kids and the people in certain areas, especially the ones who got money, they got their young kids. I'm talking about 7, 8, 9, practicing shooting. You know what I'm saying? Practicing going hunting, going to the shooting range, shooting bow and arrow, how to use a knife, how to use a sword. So this is real stuff. And we need to stop lying to ourselves. You know what I mean? It should be nothing that your child can't talk to you about or feel comfortable. Nothing.
That's true.
Because they should come to you first. They should come to you first. If they don't feel like they come to you first, then you in trouble. You see what I'm saying? That's just the day we in now. Maybe it wasn't before when things were more wholesome.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the day we in. They can get on there. I'm talking about they could be 9, 10 years old and they get on Google and, what is this? What is that? And Google is so crazy because everything comes up. There's no filter. The information is there. And even if they don't use at your home, if they go to the library or they go somewhere, they can get it. So, yeah, we got to come back to family.
Yeah,
we need to. And this is a perfect opportunity to do that. If you lost your job, start getting around people who have a trade or a small business and learn skills of how to have your own service or provide your own service. That way you can survive without a job. You know what I'm saying? That's what we need to get back to. Because my great grandmother, she was like one of the last of the Mohicans. Because I remember growing up with her, I was like maybe 4 when she died, but she pretty much raised me in her 70s when I was a baby, but I saw all the things she did. And it's amazing when you have your own skills. Because when you have your own skills, you ain't got to rely on nobody.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there's nothing like having that feeling of self-reliance. But yeah, this is, like I say, it's how you look at things. You can look at things from a negative side, or you can look at them from a positive side. When you take advantage of an opportunity, it's not negative. You see what I'm saying? It's how you use it. It's people who go to jail, right? It's some people that go to jail and they got a certain amount of time in there and they go, oh man, this is messed up. And they go in there and they become a worse person. And they're in there fighting with the people in jail and they getting in more trouble. But you have other people that say, you know what? Let me use this time constructively. And those people, they read, they study, they may study the law. They may study finance. They may study, you know what I'm saying, how things work when they're in jail and they come out a better person. Because check this out. This is a hard reality for some people. Guess what? Even though going to jail is a bad thing, do you know the people in jail have more time available than the average person trying to survive?
Yes.
In your day, the way they have us living here, you might have maybe 2 hours, 3 hours in your day. True. To do anything. And what you're going to do, you're stressed out, you're going to watch some TV, you're going to relax, you're going to, you know what I'm saying? You're going to try to take a break. But in jail, even though they provide food and everything, you have time to think if you use it right. So that's what I'm saying. This time they're shutting everything down. We got to take advantage of this and come out on top. That's how I see it. You know what I'm saying? We could capitalize on this if we get together and stop relying on white people or relying on certain people who never gave a rip about you. You know what I'm saying? You need to care about yourself. You have to. And this is the greatest time to do it. I don't think it's been like this. Maybe what, since the Great Depression? What was that, in the 30s?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the opportunity of a lifetime. And we have some of the greatest minds sitting right now in your house, sitting right now somewhere, a person you know, geniuses, but they need their parents to be behind them, or they need a support system behind them. That's the only thing we're lacking. We've been looking for the outside approval of, Academy Award or some type of white award where they're getting behind. We need to get behind ourselves. And once you do that, your children will benefit from your encouragement. You see what I'm saying? Exactly. It's not a competition. Yeah, I'm just it's very frustrating when I see Black people and we always want to compete with each other. It's like, if we all get it together, we don't have to compete. We don't have to compete. It's not a competition.
Team.
Exactly. It's a team if you can lose the ego. You know what I mean? Most other cultures, they come together as groups. We want to be an individual and we want to do it all. Because I've seen people say that, oh, nobody helped me, or I'm self-made. No, there ain't no such thing as self-made. There's no such thing as self-made. If you were self-made, you wouldn't have to come out of your mother. So your mother, if you come out of a woman's womb, you are never self-made.
Wow, wow.
Come on.
Wow.
Come on. And then all these men saying that they're higher than women. A man can never be higher than a woman. I'm sorry to piss y'all off, but it's the truth. If you know about math, right, you know simple math. Simple math says what? Nothing can be greater than what it comes out of, right? So if I have a number and a number comes out of that number can never be more than the number it came out of. So if you have a woman, you came out of her womb, and you a male, you could never be greater than what you came out of. And that's just a fact. That's just a fact. That's why they call your great-grandparents the further back, greater and greater. That's why they call it your great-great-great, because they're greater because this is where y'all all came from. And the further back you go, the more powerful it is. So I say that to say we got to get out of this male domination mindset that was taught to you by white people and their system and their religion. I mean, I could go on and on about that as well, but we've been brainwashed pretty much. Like I said, you want to talk about the woman was completely removed. Completely removed. You got Father, Son, Holy Spirit now. They can't even say woman. It's a ghost. It's like, okay, now it's a ghost. You see that? So where's the mother, daughter, sister? Where's that at? That's where we came from. And they even tell you Jesus, if y'all, for the Christians out there, Jesus had a mother. They say Mary, mother of God. So they telling you everyone had a mother. You see what I'm saying? And if the people want to talk about the earth and all that and such and who created it, they tell you that this is the matrix. What is the word matrix? Womb. It means womb, or it means belly, the stomach. So guess who's the only person who has a womb? A woman. So even the earth is a woman. Even the heavens are a woman because they produce creation faculty. So what I'm saying is, if you don't have that faculty, you cannot stand there and say that you are God and you this and all that, because it's somebody lied to you. That's the point I'm saying.
My God.
So we got to give honor to the women, because we only 1/3 of a woman, but a woman is 3 times a man. I'll say that again. As a male, you only 1/3 of a woman, but a woman is 3 times a man. So once again, just using basic science, I can't take something out of something that doesn't possess it, right? I can't get lemon juice out of a cup that don't have lemon juice in it, right? So if we get the male and the female out of the female, that means the female contains both the male and the female. That means she's both, because she is. So we got to get back to honoring our mother. We have to. You wondering why we so messed up as people? Because we got men running everything. And it's the truth. They lied to you and told you that the man's supposed to lead. You believe that. No. Look at nature. Let nature teach you.
Power. Oh, God.
Exactly. Look at nature. Nature, without speaking, without writing a book. Without writing a book, you can see. If you look at the male lion and the female lioness, the lioness is the one who brings the food. She's the provider. in nature, the woman is the provider. We're going against nature. The male is the protector. You see what I'm saying? And yes, there's a balance, but I'm saying a man can't provide anything. As soon as you're born and you come out of your mother's womb, she already housed you when you were born in her, when you were being birthed in her stomach. That's a house. When they have the fallopian tube, she's feeding you. That's your food. When you come out of the stomach, she has breast milk because you don't have any teeth. That's your first food. Your father couldn't feed you. If there was no woman, you couldn't be fed. So there's providing right there. The woman is built to provide. She don't have breasts to look good. She has breasts to provide. The man, we have testicles or nuts, so you can say, because we're supposed to fight. We're made to fight. We're made to protect. Once you understand these things, you'll know your place, but we've lost our place. Right. That's the whole point. You know what I mean? We've lost our place. We've lost the honor in the woman. Every male desire is a woman. Yeah. Mostly. Well, you know, they got an agenda now. But bottom line, what I'm saying is all we're trying to do in life is get back into what we came out of.
For real. I thought about that the other night. For real. For real.
You see what I'm saying?
Kneeling at the altar.
Stop it.
And that's the truth.
Don't get me started. I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut up.
That's the truth. We breaking down the door trying to get back home. And that's it. So never forget that. That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Forget what they telling you, that your enemy ain't gonna never tell you the truth. That's why we confused now. We running off a white man's religion, and most people who want to argue down about religion and the Bible don't know nothing about Africa. They don't know nothing about Kemet. They don't know nothing about their origins. So before you want to argue with me, find out who you are first. Find out where you came from.
That's right.
Because you got a book, but who wrote it? Did you even look up that? Oh, no, it's the scripture. Wasn't it written by King James? Where's King James from? England. Oh, wait. Didn't they tell you it's a translation? Translate. That means translate. It means it's taken from something previous. Do you know what that something previous is? Nope. So that's what I'm saying. We got to get out of the mindset of following what everybody else is doing, because that's a sheep mentality. And I've heard people say, "Oh, the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want to." No, don't say that. That's a curse. Let me tell you why. Do you know what the shepherd does? Everybody talk about the shepherd. He protects his sheep and all that. Do you know why the shepherd protects the sheep? Because those sheep are about to get slaughtered. Do you want to go to the slaughter?
Yes.
Come on. They don't talk about that he's going to make lamb chop, that he's going to make gyro meat, that he's going to shave their hair and make wool. That's why he protects those sheep, because he's the main predator. And if you got a predator, what do you got? Prey. So when you're saying pray to God, you better be sure what God you're praying to, because you might just be prey to God. Prey.
Yes.
Yep. You see what I'm
saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be careful. You got to know these names, and you got to understand whatever animal they refer to. You got to understand the nature of that animal. If they saying you a sheep, go look up how sheep live. Sheep have a false sense of security. Sheep gather up together, right? And they huddle up, and that makes them feel like they can't be attacked, right? But it's a false, because without protection, that wolf can come in at any time and get any one of them that he wants. And all they're going to do is run off and they can't do nothing. So you don't want to be a sheep. You want to be what they call an apex predator. And that means, apex means top of the food chain. Mm-hmm. See what I'm saying? It means you don't have a predator. Once you become like that, you become self-reliant. So we need to get off of. See, this is another thing they did, and this is so deep, because this is the reason why we're so dependent. It's something called learned helplessness. And what they learned through studying human behavior, because they've been studying human behavior over 70 years now, is that when you give somebody something, when you provide somebody something, what'll happen is over time, that person will start depending on what you gave them, therefore giving up their own independent self-reliance. So this is why they give us the food stamps, why they give us this and they give us that. They're not giving it to help you. They're giving it because you're going to start becoming relying on those things. And once you start relying on them, you're not going to want to give it up. I know that for a fact. They've done these studies on animals. It'll be animals that would have survived in the wild on their own. But when you bring them in, you start feeding them.
Yep.
Now they're relying on you now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you throw them out there, they ain't going to know what to do.
They're dead. Mm-hmm.
They're dead. You see? So that's why we're like it. We need to be teaching our kids. We need to be teaching our brothers, our sisters. I don't give a damn if you're 40, 50. You may have to go live with your mom. You may have to go live with your sister because we don't have anything. This is what kills me when people talk about, oh, you got to go out of the house at 20. If you don't have shit, you send your children to the wolves.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even have anything. You're barely paying for the bills, and you're gonna tell them when they get 18 to go out there like they have credit or like they have. No, you're supposed to stay with your family, and your family's a unit. Go study the Chinese cultures. Chinese cultures, they will stay together as a family. I'm talking about the grandmother, the mother, the children, until they get enough money to buy a restaurant, until they get enough money to buy a unit. And those children will work in the restaurant until they get enough money to get their own. But we can't do that because our ego. Oh, no, you're going to get out. You're going to get out of my house. I don't take care of grown people. Well, guess what? Somebody lied to you because we don't have nothing. Black people, the wealth is under 2% of all wealth. So if you don't have nothing, what are you going to do? You know, we got to come back together. I'm telling you, we got to come back together. And if we don't do that, then you already know. This is what I meant by learning from your mistakes. We see what it's like living like we're living now. You see it ain't working. So I'm saying you'd be a fool to go back and do the same thing again when we get a second chance. So that's how I see this. This is an opportunity of a lifetime if you see it that way. Otherwise, it's the end of the world. The end of the world also means the beginning of a new world. Remember that. The end of one world means the beginning of a new world. Right. I want this to be the new world where we come back together and we get out of all of these groups and systems and things that you didn't create. You see what I'm saying? When I grew up, I didn't see no black angels in the Bible. I didn't see no black pictures of God. I didn't see no black, none of that. I didn't see no women in the Bible. Is barely any women books in the Bible, is it? It's like, what, 2 books with women and they're real short? Mm-hmm. So I'm saying we need to go back. When we were doing it, the women. So I'll give you an example. You ever seen a house when a man runs the house? You see how it's all tore up and uneven and everything everywhere. It's all junked up. But when a woman runs a house, it's clean, it's in order, it's neat. You see what I'm saying? That's the point. We need to get back to that. So we're out of order right now because we got the man trying to play the woman's role and trying to be the provider. The woman will always provide easier than the man. So we can argue about it if you want, but I'm telling you, nature says so. We all came out of a woman. Everybody in this chat room, everybody listening to the sound of my voice, you came out of a woman. So therefore, that's what they mean by respect your elders. Respect what gave you your life. Otherwise, you're dead. You're dead. That's it. Even if you don't get with a woman, you still need to respect the women. The women are most disrespected ever.
So true. You
know what I mean? And we need to change our image too. You don't have to look at TV to know what to do. Make your own image. Make your own. Make it trendy to be presentable. Make it trendy to be, you know what I'm saying? In a good, to present yourself well as a presentation or a representation of your race. That's something you can do. Forget what they're showing, because there's something appealing about a woman who's neat and clean, not a woman who got all her stuff all hanging out. You know what I'm saying?
Tell it.
It's crazy. And they're making you think that's what you want to be. So that's why I say you got to cut the TV off and go back in your brain. You got to cut the TV off. If you don't cut the TV off, it's going to run your life. Simple and plain. That's why they got rid of Bill Cosby. It wasn't because of Bill Cosby is this and that. No, Bill Cosby, that was the only wholesome show that showed a black family actually as a cohesive unit.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? In a modern fashion. I ain't talking about what was it? Moving on up. What?
Oh, you mean in a buffoonish way?
Right. Without being sellout. He was.
Yes.
He was setting a template for us to follow.
Right.
Yes.
I want to see that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, the Jeffersons reinforced the fact that when they even said moving on up.
Yeah.
Like, where were you before? Like, up to what?
Exactly.
Right? What they mean is basically to be successful in this white society, white dominated society that doesn't really work for most of us. So, you know, he made it. So that's going to lead us to slaughter. That's why in the beginning, he just bopping and walking like a fool. You know what I mean? And they picked the gay man to play the part, although the world didn't know that at the time. So he wasn't a threat. So he's going to bop and act whichever way, because back in the 70s, you know, we had our faces out there, but it wasn't as much as it is now. But it's controlled more now. But that was to lure us into Aspire, you know, moving on up to that deluxe apartment in the sky.
Right.
Where is that? I don't see no deluxe apartments in the sky in the hood. So that means somebody else. You know what I mean?
You see how they still kept them ghetto? If you go watch that show, they had
exactly.
And all that. It was like they were still portraying this ghetto-fied. But when you look at Bill Cosby's show, he was presentable. He showed himself as a doctor. He showed his wife as a lawyer. He showed the family as a cohesive unit. You see what I'm saying? So they're like, no, we got to get this off TV.
Yeah.
Because TV is a powerful thing. You got to understand. TV is some of the most powerful magic they ever created. The magic that is created in your mind through images, they made it with the television to control your own imagination. So that's what TV is. It's controlling your imagination that you would use on your own and giving you a template, which is why they call it programming. If you're watching TV programming, who's being programmed? You, the viewer. They call you the viewer. That's magic. When you watch the channel, the TV channel, you're channeling. What do you want to channel? If you cut on one channel, it's violence. You cut on another channel, it's police and forensics. It's murder. It's depression. It's drama on another channel. It's, you see what I'm saying? Those are channels. But where's the positive channels?
The word channel. You're channeling this energy.
Exactly.
So correct. Directly into your mind.
Exactly.
So it's like they took a positive channel. However you want to look at Bill Cosby. Let's say he did do it, right? Because I believe some of that was fabricated to take him down because of his legs. I
believe 95% of it was fabricated.
Because they all came with the exact same story. And I'm like, now, that sounds like somebody's reading off a cue card, if you ask me.
Yeah.
If you ask 20 people and they all say, oh, yeah, he did this, he did that, and then he did this. It's like, wait a minute. Did somebody give y'all a script? Because nobody got a different story. Everybody say the same thing.
Yep.
But, and that's a whole nother topic.
And no white woman ain't gonna be violated like that and wait 30 damn years
to talk
about it.
Thank you. And that was in the time. Exactly. During that time when it happened. That was back in the time you could barely look at a white woman.
Exactly.
So you telling me, oh, he just did all these things and nobody said anything. And then check this out. Where's the responsibility on the woman's part?
Exactly.
Because didn't they know he was a married man?
Exactly.
If I tell you, if you know I'm a public figure, sought out public figure, one of the top black men at that time, and you know I'm a married man with multiple kids, and you say you're gonna meet me at a hotel at 2 a.m. in the morning, and I greet you with a bathrobe on, you think we're gonna discuss your career? I'm just saying, does that even make sense?
We ain't discussing cryptocurrency at that point. You know, the thing is that they had this old crusty white woman, looked like she about 85 years old, from way back in the 60s. She was trying to get at him, or that she said something happened. What I'm saying is that when Bill Cosby was really younger, right? We all are younger. We all get older. But look. They were coming after him before he was really the world famous Bill Cosby. And they all come with the same story with drugs and different things. Well, did he force you down to take these things? You found yourself up there, and look at the company you kept. Hugh Hefner, the Playboy man.
See. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me get on that.
Go ahead, do your thing, brother.
Check this out. No, I'm glad you brought that up. That's a great example of double standards and double.
There you go.
See. Check this out. They're saying R. Kelly is a sex cult and he did this and he had women tied up and all these things, right? Okay. How is Hugh Hefner? Check this out. How is Hugh Hefner not talked about? Hugh Hefner he lived with 10 women at the same time who signed an agreement that they would live with each other and that they would give him sex whenever he asked for it. That's not a cult. That's not a cult. He's like 90 something years old with young women living in the same house that they're there with an agreement, but they don't give him, no problem. And then they don't talk about Elvis. Elvis had a fetish for young girls. They don't talk about any of these other people. But when it comes to our greats, then it's up. And I'm going to tell you something. It was interesting timing to me when they brought up the R. Kelly thing. Because for a while, they weren't talking about it. But if you notice, when they brought that up, it was during the time when all that stuff was coming out about the Catholic Church. See, they were going about, all these people, they got molested and they got whatever by these priests. So they were like, oh, man, we're looking bad now. So they're like, yo, we got to figure out, we got to put a black face back in front of this. Yeah. So then they just start running about R. Kelly. And I said, wow, they got to keep us the face. They got to keep the black male the face. The face of, all the negativity. So, but the point I was saying about the channels, that's the point. When they removed the Bill Cosby show, they removed a positive channel that you could view in and see an example to live by. And we barely have any now. Actually, if you watch TV now, not that I watch TV, but if you look at the programming, there's barely any black shows now. And if they are, it's all foolishness.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
All they have are these, what do you call it, reality TV shows that showcase black women and black men as
acting crazy,
simple-minded, intelligent people, but acting simple-minded, just running a narrative that the average black person would not partake in or do. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
And also it makes you say to yourself, if you're wealthy, and we're just using wealthy in the the simplest terms, your needs are met, you can take care of yourself. You can, you know what I'm saying? Why would I be coming on a TV show acting ratchet?
Exactly.
If I'm a wealthy woman and I have status, why am I going to come on a TV show acting ratchet? That's not going to happen. But that's what you see in all these reality shows. Exactly. All these women, they come together, they act ratchet. All the men come together and act like all they wanted was to get into that woman's pants. They have no intentions on committing, or they don't know how to commit. And all of it makes no sense. And we get stuck to the TV and we watch it.
That's right. That's so true. And like I said, we don't think about it. And you're absolutely right. That's the whole point. When you watch it they know about hypnosis. You watch something long enough, when you stare at something, you go into beta brainwave, because you've been staring so long, you stop thinking.
Exactly.
And it's like a daydream. You know how you daydream, you kind of like staring forward, but you're not really looking at anything. That happens when you stare at TV over 30 seconds. So then when you're in that wave, they can put everything in your mind, because you kind of like, you're like in a trance almost. Right. So when someone walks by you, because my parents do that all the time, and I would make fun of them. Like my dad, if he's watching TV, he'd be so sucked in that I could bump his shoulder and he'll go, what are you doing? Like, he's that drawn in. And I was like, yo, this is some powerful shit. This TV is super powerful.
Yep.
Where it can suck you in like that. You know what I mean? So Yeah, you're absolutely right. In the programming, if you're wondering why your children or why your people are acting a certain way, because they're being programmed for that behavior.
Exactly.
So the eyes eat light. Your eyes eat light. So just like you digest, whatever you put in, it's called digestion. So when you digest light, the plants outside, they call it photosynthesis. It means digestion of the sunlight. So when you watch TV, you're watching images, your eyes are eating that content. So what happens is when you go to sleep, after you watch TV, you think nothing of it, but it's digesting that material subconsciously. So you might not know, but it might come out in another way. Just like if you eat some bad junk food, right? It's going to come out. You're going to forget you ate it. And then you go use the bathroom, you're like, oh, yo, what did I eat? Because it was trash. So if you trash in, trash out. You know what I'm saying? Trash in, trash out.
Exactly.
And this is why it's so important. Like I said, you got to talk with your own people. We need to stop being scared of each other. You know what I mean? Because if you don't, somebody else, the word programming means to give a set of instructions. That's the definition.
Right.
To give a set of instructions. So if you don't do it, somebody else will. And that's just by default. And you don't want the rappers to do it. So let me give you a good example of another double standard. They want to come after the people for illegal things, right? They say having sex with an underage person is illegal. They say that doing all these different things is illegal, right? Well, check this out. Last time I checked, selling drugs is illegal. Shooting people is illegal, right?
Exactly.
But they promote that. Now check that out. You can make a song, I'm gonna kill a nigga, steal a nigga, spill a nigga. But right, but they play that on the radio to your kids, to your whoever. But if it's underage things or sexual things or other illegal activities, they immediately come after you.
Exactly.
So what is that telling you? The fact that they allow something that people who sell drugs, listen, I know people that have followed rappers, they have lost their lives following those songs because it's so powerful. And they're thinking, oh, I need to do this to be successful. And they might get 40, 50 years in prison. But it's promoted. Think about that for a minute, because we're so used to it. But yeah, you allow that to be promoted, and you told us that's illegal. So you got to make your mind up. Y'all need to come after that just as hard as you coming after all the other illegal things. That's the point I'm saying.
Exactly. I agree.
You see what I'm saying? Because that's a mixed message. Oh, you can sell drugs, you can kill each other, but on the sexual side, you can't do that.
No, because you see, sex, you might procreate, but if you sell drugs, you know what I'm saying? We do them a favor with the guns, because we get rid of each other. You know?
Exactly. And they want you to do that because then they can give you a higher sentencing. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The first thing they say, oh, drugs, and you a baby, you ain't even experienced life yet. You can be 14, 15, 20. And they give you 40 years. They just killed you.
Just like that. Yeah.
Just like that. And the music is so influential that you're not thinking about it because you're in a desperate situation. And like I said, desperate people make the worst decisions.
True.
Desperate people. You never want to ask a desperate person to make a decision because they're not in the right mind.
That is true. That is true.
You know what I'm saying? When you're desperate, you're not thinking logic. You're thinking survival. And so you got these people, especially us, we're in the worst position in America. And they got these people telling you sell drugs, pop pills, do all of this, risk your life.
Yep.
Risk your life to end up risking your life. Check that out. That is crazy. So this is why I say the mind is the most powerful thing. But if you give it away, it's a wrap. If you give it away, you can't give it away. Sometimes you might have to take your kids out of school. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people. I can't. Listen.
I tell you one thing. I am so, and I feel for people that are raising small children now. I really do. I really feel for them because this is a rough time to be raising small children.
Yeah, it is. It is. And that's why I said we need to look after each other.
Yeah.
We need to look after each other. If you know somebody and they need somewhere to stay, y'all should figure something out. Y'all could go half and half on the rent, or y'all can put your kids together, or take like we used to do. We used to do this when we first came out of slavery. We used to do this because we knew who our enemy was. We knew if we don't look out for each other, then ain't nobody gonna. We knew that. So what they do? A very strategic move. They gave us Martin Luther King. That's what they did. They said, look at these black people. They're together. They know that they need each other. So what happened? They gave us Martin Luther King, and then we put our guard down. We said, oh, look. Wow, they let a black man speak before a white crowd. Oh, wow. You know what? They've come around. So then they got you to give up what you had. Now look at us. Look at us now. See what I'm saying? So you got to look at the results. We always talk about what happened. You gotta ask what happened before to make that result. When they gave us Martin Luther King and he was preaching peace and turn the other cheek and all that, they loved him. The white people, the government, they loved him. They gave him agents to protect him. Several pictures of white agents walking next to Martin Luther King. As soon as he changed his speech to, I believe I'm bringing my people into a burning house. I believe that I'm doing it wrong. Oh, he was dead within 3 months. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And the same with Barack Obama.
Can't wake people up.
You can't. And they play us with our own people. You see a black face, so you trust it. Barack Obama is an example of what happens if you don't go with your people. That's what he's an example of. You see he's alive, right? They didn't kill him, whatever. That's because he never did nothing significant to help us. Yes, they did block his efforts. I'm not going to act like they didn't. But had he been a person that was really vowing for us, he'd probably be dead. Let's just
true.
That's true. You see what I'm saying?
That's true. That's true.
So you got to be aware of these people that they present us, because if we didn't pick them, who's vetting these people, and why does our enemy love these people to put them in front of us? That's the question you got to ask yourself. See what I'm saying? You got Jay-Z, his main messages, I sold drugs and all that, which he didn't actually, which he got told on, by the way, because he was following the blueprint, trying to say he was. But you got Jay-Z, whose messages, I sell drugs, in the White House, sitting next to Obama. Tell me how does that happen? To present you with, this is your black men that we love. Where's the black intelligent people? Where's the black philosophers? Where's the black scientists? People said Dr. Sebi. What happened to Dr. Sebi? You see what they did to Dr. Sebi?
Of course.
You see what I'm saying? Dr. Sebi, we need more Dr. Sebis. We need more black inventors. And this was way back in like 2007. I wanted to start a black software company. You know how we got Microsoft, we got Apple, we got all this stuff. Ain't none of them black, but we're biggest consumers. I tried to start it, and then I saw how white the industry was, and it scared me. I'm not going to lie. Because if you enter that field, you're going to be the only black person. That's how crazy it is. So even if you do have your company, all your programmers,
they're going to infiltrate it.
They're going to be white. And I don't even care if it's not about power. White people don't like taking a second seat to black people.
Of course not.
See what I'm saying? How many places have you been ever where you see the CEO of a company and all the employees are white? You can't name it, right? How many jobs have you been where the CEO is black?
Actually, the only one that I can think of, as far as it not being a black company per se, is American Express. Because because I don't know who they have right now, but there was a time when the top guy for American Express was a black man, and I think they also had a black woman take that spot for a minute there. But that's the only one I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, but they gone now, right?
I believe so. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Because I thought about this too. I said common sense, right? I was like, how many? Because I was talking with one of my mom's friends who she's religious and stuff, but she's kind of waking up. But I asked her too. I said, how many churches can you go in where the preacher is black and all the members are white. Oh, I really don't. But then I said, but let's turn it around though. How many buildings can you go where the head is white or the preacher's white and it's all black members?
Yeah,
1 million of those. How many companies where the CEO is white and it's all black or all minority workers? Millions. So this is the point I'm saying. Regardless of how we think, even if it makes sense, they still say, I don't want to take a back seat. You see what I'm saying? I don't want to take a back seat. And that's how we have to think. We have to look out for each other.
right.
We must.
Absolutely.
Yep. So just to put it that way, I'm saying this is a great opportunity if you see it that way. If you use your own mind, this can be the greatest thing that ever happened in a long time. Because look at the opportunities we have right now.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? We got technology. There used to be a time, and I'm so glad I listened to my grandmother, because my grandmother told me it was a time that if you was caught and you were black, you was caught reading and you know how to read well, they would kill you.
True.
They would kill you. Now we got access to information everywhere, and we won't capitalize on it. I don't understand. Because of that TV. It's because of that TV. It's because of we're not coming into ourselves. But like I say, I do believe we can. I do believe there's hope. But for some people, it's just going to have to be left out. Because some people got that old mind. They're still following the old white programming and the things that didn't work for us. None of that stuff worked for us. I'm sorry. People, we stick to things that don't work for us.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? How many people go to church, they pray to God every Sunday, and they still suffering? Nothing didn't happen.
Exactly.
So that means it's time to try something new.
You know, they tell you that there's going to be a great wealth transfer coming real soon. You know, and a lot of us are not going, and basically what they're saying is that it's our people that the wealth is going to be transferred to, but you have to be ready, you have to be prepared to take advantage of when it happens. A lot of us are so caught up in the fear of what's going on around us right now that we're not looking at ways that we can benefit from whatever is coming, you know, whether it's in the cryptocurrency sphere, whether it's looking at stocks and because people are betting against the system. They're getting ready to crash the system, and they're also betting against it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, they call that hedging.
Yeah, exactly, right. You know what I mean? And so why are we not looking at these things?
That's right.
You know, why are we not looking at the stock market and saying, you know what, I need to learn something now. I need to get involved in something. I need, a good friend of mine used to say to me, anything you buy a lot of, you should invest in it.
That's correct.
Any store you go to on a regular, you should invest in it. Even if it's $1, you should invest in it, because because you're making them rich. Why can't you get some wealth back from those same companies?
That's correct.
You know,
so true.
So crypto's coming. Don't let the naysayers that want to tell you that it's a bad thing and it's never going to work. It's going to work. It's starting to work. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't get on now, you won't be able to get on, because they're going to go through the roof. I mean, you have coins right now that are fractions of a fractions of a fractions of a penny. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So when you buy into that at those minuscule fractions, you can buy a ton for nothing. Sit on it, because it's going to go up.
Yep. Correct. But nobody's teaching us that. You see,
nobody's teaching us that. Yes.
That's the problem. And even these so-called people who make the money, they're not sharing that information with us. So what is it? Like, we get excited. We see somebody, oh, he's a black billionaire. Oh, he's a da-da-da. Okay, but if he ain't teaching or helping us, it's just a symbol. It's just like saying, oh, okay, here's a black person, but we're not benefiting. You see what I'm saying? That's the whole point. And that's why if you study the Jewish community, that's actually how we supposed to live. They took our blueprint. What they call themselves Jewish. The Jewish people, they don't put their kids in school. They put their kids in a different curriculum. And they teach them about finance and everything.
Listen,
oh, yeah.
We could talk about that because I know that. Because
you know what I'm saying?
They listen when they have birthdays. Don't bring no damn gift. Don't bring no toys. Don't bring no foolishness to no Jewish child. From the day they're born until they get to where they can go out on their own, the only thing you can give them is money. You can't give them anything else. Okay. And they have a system. And I'll tell anybody, if you're going to give a person a gift, you give it to them in multiples of 9 or 18. Anything that's divisible or multipliable by 9 or 18, that's how you give them money. You don't give them $10. You give them 9, you give them 18, you give them 36, and you give them whatever comes next. My math ain't that good. Glance, what comes after 36? 45. Right? That's how you give them
age. It's like I was 36 and was 45.
Yo, stop.
Leapfrogging.
Yo, Lance. Yeah, you're right. But it might be something to that because I know about
there is something to
the law of vibration. Yeah. Yes. I actually made a point about that a while ago where I was catching on to some of these big companies and these people who practice it's what is it called? It's a type of magic they practice. The people in Hollywood and all of them. It's not Celtic. What do they call it? Druidic. The Druidic.
Oh, okay,
magic.
okay.
Yeah, they don't.
But isn't that similar to Celtic? Aren't the Celtics?
Yeah, Celtic is under that, right?
Yeah.
But I was just thinking of the name.
The Druid.
Yeah.
Okay, the Druids.
Yeah, the Druids. So what they do, and the people who have these big companies, they avoid certain numbers. But you told me the Jewish go by 9. See, 9 is the resurrection number.
Exactly. That's the most powerful number.
That's the most powerful because 9 is before the. See, once you get to 9, that's it. And then there's a new cycle.
You start over again. Exactly.
You go back to the 0. So
you go back to 1 because 0 just intensifies anything you put it with. Right. It either makes it less or it intensifies it.
That's correct. But all of the numbers come out of the 0. They're just parts.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. When you watch the 0 represents the womb. See, numbers are just a symbol of physical things. The 0 represents the womb, and then the numbers represent the people or the things. But they all come out of the 0. That's why every number divided by 0 is 0.
Exactly.
Every number times 0 is 0. But I was saying, I caught on, there's no Windows 9. There's no iPhone 9. There's no, they skip 9. They skip 9, but they go to numbers like 6. 10. It's always a 6. It's always a they love that 6 because the 6 represents the fall and the physical. So 666 is carbon 12 on the periodic table of elements. It's talking about the physical body, carbon, which belongs to the physical.
Well, okay, you're right, but I just thought about something as we were talking.
Oh no, go ahead. Why you got the thought?
It's 666, right?
Yes.
That's 18.
That's
right?
18. Yeah.
Numerology, it reduces down to 9.
Yeah, it does.
So if we are 666 and everybody just stops right there, but you bring it back to 9, we are the highest point.
Correct. But guess what? That's only when you put the 666 together.
Yeah.
Right. When it's still 666, it's separated. And that's the problem, is they keeping us separated.
Exactly. That's my whole point.
Yes.
They're keeping us separated. So whenever we talk about it, we just stop at 666 and everybody's happy that we're carbon, neutron, electron,
Yep.
But take it down to the lowest, what is it, denominator,
round
the lowest, round it down to the lowest number, and you bring yourself back to the highest number.
That's right. That's right. And that's great that you thought about that, because that makes a lot of sense. But that's unity. But their point is to keep it 666. They never say 18 or 9, because that's unifying those numbers.
Yeah.
The 666 is keeping you in the 6 vibration.
Yeah.
The 3 is the Trinity, the Holy
Yes.
Trinity.
Yes.
That's talking about spiritual.
Yes.
The 6 is representing the physical. And then the 9 is representing coming back out of the physical, going back to the Trinity.
Exactly.
So they want to keep us from doing that. So they keep us on 6, which means sex in German. The word 6 means sex. So when they say sex, they're saying 666. And that's your lower self. Your lower self is the 6, or what they call Set.
Right.
His name is Set, and that sounds like sex too.
Mm-hmm.
So the bottom line is to keep you in your lower self, which starts at the waist.
Right. And 6 also is like, if you're looking at it in a biblical sense, it's the number of completion as far as 6 days you work and the 7th, which is a spiritual day, you rest, so we can look at it in terms of it being our lower self, but that when we look at 6 as our lower self and 6 representing sex, we diminish the fact that we have to have sex to create life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, physical life.
This life, and like we said, we all come through that act. You can't come here without having that act. So we have to be careful how we define that number. Because we can define it in a base fashion as opposed to defining it in its higher fashion.
Right. Well, I'm speaking on basically, my time studying this science, and a lot of it. So it's like you gotta kind of take the good with the bad. Like,
true.
If you have good, because we're in duality on the 3rd dimension.
Yeah.
There's always a good. It's always got a bad side.
You're absolutely right. Brother Eisen, I'm not what you were talking about. You're absolutely correct. But when you have people listening that don't necessarily know the other side to things.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I feel you.
We have to give them the other side also, because then they'll just take one. It's like if I said 6 is the highest number and I don't have a counterbalance to say, well, it also can be thus and such.
Right.
Then we run with just what we know.
Well, what you know. Yeah, you're right. But you just touched on the Jewish using the 9. That's actually the positive side of it. It's the opposite of 6, because it's going in the opposite direction.
There you go.
Going back up. So that's why I was saying it's funny. You say you can't bring them something unless it's a 9. They're using a certain frequency.
Yeah.
Because they give it credit.
We need to learn.
We need to
learn
it.
Because guess what? They stole it from us in the first place.
Thank you.
So we need to go back. We need to take our power back. And we need unfortunately, we have to relearn.
Yes.
What they stole from us.
Correct. You're just getting your own stuff back.
Exactly.
Because when they take it, they take the good parts and they give us the crumbs. They give us the bones.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So you're absolutely right. Yeah. It goes back to us. So yeah, maybe I'm gonna try that this week. Seriously, I'm gonna try that this week. I'm gonna try to do everything in 9s, because I know they credit it to Tesla. But he said that the secrets of the universe are in 3, 6, and 9.
Yes.
So I'm saying, they keeping us on 6 so much. What happens if we change that? Like I said,
change it.
Exactly.
Is that they always tell you in Jamaica when people screw you over, they tell you that they gave you a 6 for a 9. So that's what they did to us. They gave us a 6 for a 9.
6 for a 9.
Okay.
Wow. That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
When you understand it. But
exactly.
But yeah. So wow, Jewish people, they stole our blueprint. But we need to be living like them.
Yeah.
We need to be living like them, and we need to stop living like, because I heard a rich guy say this. It was some white dude on some program, and they asked him something. I think he was doing a poll of the audience, and they were saying, what do you feel about this? And da-da-da. And they said, well, what do you feel about school? And, blah, blah. And he said, school, he's like, school, that's for the poor. He's like, school is for the poor. He's like, he's like, I don't do school. He's like, you need to teach your kids about finance and about life.
That's right.
He's like, they created that program,
That's right,
to keep you guys broke. And I was like,
that's
wow,
right.
that make who? But I'm saying, who says that? Like, who do you know? Everybody we know, stay in school, whatever. And I'm like, but what has school done for you besides give you like a piece of paper? You know what I mean?
Exactly. You know what I found when I was in high school, and I'm ashamed, but I'm not ashamed. I took economics class.
Yeah.
I could not get into it for the life of me. And I realize now why I couldn't get into it, because the teacher wasn't trying to teach it so that we melanated children that were in the class could grasp it. You know,
Right.
I'm seeing it now as a, you know, I mean, not just this second, but I really recognized it a while after, because it was the kids, it was the white kids whose parents were, you know, financiers, and you know, they were doing this, and they were doctors and whatever. They're the ones that were sitting up there because the lingo was comfortable for them. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes.
The way that it was being presented, this is a language that they spoke at home.
Yes.
You know, us,
and they understood it.
Exactly.
Right.
We sitting in the classroom as black kids, whatever, we're looking like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Yes. See
You
what I'm
know,
saying?
you can't grab it. You cannot grab it,
They
because
did it
when
on
you
purpose.
leave and you go home, you do not speak that language.
Correct. That's the whole point. That's what medical, actually, I had a doctor tell me this. He said, we talk like that so that we can charge you. And I
Yeah.
was like, wow, yes.
Yeah.
There's an Arabic guy. He worked, you know, I'm in Chicago. He worked at the UIC, the University of Chicago hospital. And he told me, yeah. I was like, what's all of these? Because he gave me some sheet and it had all these words. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. He's like, you know, if we didn't say that, we couldn't charge you. And that just clicked. Like, it was telling me,
wow,
that's the whole point. So basically, because I don't know if you know about medical school. If you're a doctor, you go to school to be a doctor. You might go for 8 to 10 years of schooling. Most of that and all of it is not hands-on. It's just books. So all they really are saying is they're teaching you. They're not teaching you anything medical. They're teaching you the lingo, like what you just said. You're just learning another language that they created to go over the heads of the commoner who don't know what you're talking about. So you go 10 years and you know what thrombosis, all this crazy, see what I'm saying? And
instead of saying
pain, you just say that's a
instead
headache.
of saying pain in the leg or whatever,
a headache. I'm like, no, that's just a headache. He's like, yeah.
Exactly.
We can't charge you if we say it's a headache. So that's how you're right. It's a game. And this is why, like I said, even the Masonic language and all the other things, they can't hide it from you unless they hide the language.
Yes.
So like, you know, in tennis, they didn't want us playing tennis. So, because they knew we could beat them in all the sports. So they tried to make their own languages to hide us and to discourage us from trying to play. Because they say 40 love. You walking, you like, what? You like, what? What is that? I thought it was points. Like, what do they mean 40? So you're right. They play these games with linguistics.
Yeah.
And that's the whole trick is words and spells. Because if you don't understand the words or the spells or the spellings, you're not knowing what you're dealing with. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's the same in the law, legal. So in the law profession, they train you up for 5 to 10 years on how to legalese, which is that's a language.
Yes.
If you was to read a legal contract,
you blow your mind.
School,
you blow your mind. You're
like,
your
what
head
the
would
hell
come off.
are they talking about? if this,
yes,
say, if
and the party of the first part with the party of the second part, you're like,
I'm like, what is this shit? Because they know they're going over your head because they created another language, like you said.
Yes.
So this is how they keep us trapped.
Yes. You know, I don't know it like most people do, but I know, you know, a little bit of astrology and numerology and stuff like that. And there's an astrologist. She's dead now, but I loved her work. Her name was Linda Goodman.
Okay.
And she wrote a book called Sun Signs. And she has everything in that book. She has the 369. She has lexicology. She has numerology. She has, just, converting the names and doing the different things. I mean, she just wrote a beautiful book. That's as far as I'm concerned. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of newer folks who claim to be astrologers and numerologists and so on and so forth, I feel like they copied her work. You know what I'm saying? They copied her work. But she's called Linda Goodman, and the book is called Sun Signs. She has quite a few books, but this one is called Sun Signs. Yeah. And if you go on eBay and you can get a used copy, get the blue book, the blue copy, because that's because that's the older version, and I feel like the older version is the better one, because since she passed and they revised it, I just don't feel, I don't like revisions.
See what I'm saying? The more original, the better it is. Because it was the original author's true intentions.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like they got all these new versions, translations of the Bible.
Yeah,
they keep translating.
What was it? The 1614 or 1615, whatever year that was. That was the original. And if you get the original, it's written in Old English, not in.
You mean the original King James? Yes.
Yeah, the original, the real King James, not the bullshit person that they tell you.
Yep, and even that was a translation.
But it was, but the way it's written is so totally different from the newer one. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And there were a lot of things in the old one, the one that's written in Old English, that they took out.
Yes.
When they did the new one.
Because I have a friend. He's in England. He's a brother, but he's in England, and he showed me a Bible. It was called it was called the New Jerusalem Bible. This Bible was like, you can't get this. It's not available now. But it was one of the older Bibles, like you're saying, before they translated. And they had all these other books in there. They had a book called the Book of Wisdom.
Yeah.
And they had like 3 or 4 books.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute. Why didn't they keep these books in there? Because if the books are too powerful,
they're too powerful. Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. It's just like the older Bibles used to have the 3 book of Maccabees in there.
Yes.
Right? Yep. And the newer translation took out the book of Maccabees.
That's right.
All 3 of them. And the reason why I know this is because I went to somebody's house. I lived in England, and I went to a service, right? And there's so many things that, they took out. Yep. And I remember the pastor, or whatever he was, vicar, because that's what we call them over there, the vicar, he read from Psalms. And he read Psalm 61.
Yep.
Right? And I remember it, and I, like certain parts of it stuck in my head. I cannot find those same wording in today's Bible.
Stuff. Correct.
And it would make you think that you don't know what the hell you're talking about, right? But if you Google the words that you're looking for, you'll find one word with the new translation, or you'll find you're going to find 1 or 2 of the words, but you can't find the entire phrase or the entire verse.
Yeah.
The way it was written before.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And I also remember this other lady reading out of the book of Maccabees in the Bible. Not a separate book that she picked up that said, oh, this is the book of Maccabees. No, she was reading it from the Bible. And then the new versions and the new translations, they just took all of those things out. So now you get those in the lost books of the Bible, or the Apocrypha, or whatever. That's where you find those. The book of Judith, the book of Enoch. All of those books are what now you have to go find in those new.
And you see how that takes work. See, this is what I was telling people. This is why we're so confused. Is what we have available today it's the most available book. It's the Bible. However, that Bible is totally, like, they have translated, they have changed so much, but it's the most available thing you can reach and grab. It's a Bible in every house. It's a Bible in every hotel.
Yeah.
But these ancient texts, you got to actually do the work to actually dig, find where they're at, find where they're available, see if you can get a good translation of it. You see what I'm saying? And that takes effort, and that's the thing.
Yeah,
Anything
that's the thing.
easier,
You're right.
yeah, anything that's the most easy, as humans, we're gonna gravitate.
Right.
That's why the fast food is so the drive-throughs are so popular, because
it's
more
quick.
convenient.
It's
You
quick.
just drive up. You don't have to do you just drive up and grab it. Now they got Uber and and the others, so now you ain't gotta do that. You press a button and they bring it to you. Come on.
That's right. That's it. That's true. That's
so
true.
That's no different than in church, right? In church, they read the Bible for you. All you do is go in there and sit down.
Exactly.
They read the Bible for you, tell you
what's in there. Yes.
And then give it to you
in a Kool-Aid fashion.
And don't explain anything. They just read it to you, but they don't explain, like, for real.
They can't explain it, Brother Ison, because they don't know.
Correct. That's what I found out.
The vast majority of these pastors that are reading the Bible don't know what the hell they're just reading words.
They're just reading, and then they come up and freestyle.
And talk about their life story and how they grew up and when they found the Lord and what they gave up, and whatever. But they can't tell you. They can't break down and decipher what they just read to you.
Exactly.
I wanted to say real quick also, the oldest Bible that they have is actually that Ethiopian Bible,
the Ethiopian Bible.
the Garima Gospel, right? Now, granted, there, to me, even though it's the oldest one, there was some, to me, I feel like there was a little bit of a tampering there also, But
it is.
The illustrations, if people are smart, they will recognize that there is no white illustration in that Bible.
Right, they were all color. Yes, in those
you understand?
books. That's right.
Everything that's in there is people of color. You see yourself.
Yes. Even with afros, like they had a picture of
exactly
Jesus and the disciples, and they were all melanated. So you're right about that. Absolutely. But even that, sorry to say, even that
there was some tampering.
Yes, because the Moors, and this was through my own research where I had to dig down deep. So I was willing to go as far as I needed to find the original. So I found out the most original, or the oldest that we have, comes from Sumer, and that's the Sumerian tablets. And then you have the hieroglyphs,
right,
in Kemet,
right.
Those are the originals, and this is what happened when they were tomb raiding. They went through those and they stole these texts, but they couldn't read them. So they were trying to figure out what are these things. And once they figured out, like I said, it was the Rosetta Stone.
Right.
That allowed them to translate pretty much 70-80% of the hieroglyphs. So then they started reading them, and they gave them to their scribes.
And they're like, oh shit, we can't let them know this.
We can't let them know this, and we got to put our spin on it.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So when they gave them this to their white scribes and the Roman Catholic scribes, they were going through each thing, and then they started drawing their pictures. They took all the women out, and then God was a man. They took all the color, all the angels was white. And then this is what we got, and we're like, yo, why don't I see myself at all?
Yep.
So you're right, but not only did they even change that, they even changed the names.
Exactly.
So Moses.
Exactly. Tutmosis. Moses was Moses.
See what I'm saying? And they just put Moses, and we think it's a white man.
Yeah.
And then Jesus, which was Heru. Heru was Jesus, and also Isis is Jesus, because you have to go back further.
Isis.
See what I'm saying? Isis was where you get your Easter story. Her name was Ishtar.
Right.
But you have to read the Sumerian, because they have stories like what is it? They have it's not the Book of Inanna. They called her Inanna, they called her Isis, and they called her Ishtar.
Right.
But basically in those stories, she's the one that died on the cross. She's the one that was resurrected on the third
as
day.
a woman, as a
woman, and her name was Ishtar. So when you go to church on Ishtar Sunday, Easter, Ishtar, ask your preacher, what does Easter mean?
Don't know.
That's when Jesus. No, that's a name, and that's a woman. So you're right. So this is what I mean by. But look at how unavailable that text is versus the Bible. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And this is why people don't get it, because they're like, oh well.
Those are sitting at the bottom of the Vatican for the day when we can actually rate it and get them all out of there.
Oh,
I think that's the day we will all come to the one true knowledge of self.
That's right.
Because anything else, and they're going to tell you that you're demented, or you don't know what you're talking about. Until we can actually see it for ourselves, a lot of us won't believe it.
Yeah, you're right. For some people, believing is seeing.
Yeah.
But like I said, I got to a point. Right. But from my studies and me, like, earnestly and honestly wanting to know the truth, I found like pretty much a key code that all the stories said in similar fashion the same thing. So now I can look at a fairy tale. I can look at a nursery rhyme. I can look at any story and tell you could get the same power and meaning if you know what you're looking at in the symbols. And most of the time they're dealing with pretty much the code is that we were spiritual, and some kind of way we ended up trapped in a physical dimension where we wanted to arise back out.
But okay.
And that's hard for a lot of people because they want to hear, they don't want to hear that.
Here's where we don't understand it. And this is what they don't talk about. The book of Genesis, since we're kind of talking on this right now, right? I know everybody's gonna, the Bible is just a spell, and this and that and whatever. There's some factual things, and there were some truths, and there were some things that you have to, read between the lines and whatever, right? We're not going to talk about Adam and Eve as being the first man and first woman and all of that foolishness. But what I'm going to say is their form was energy, right? They were able to communicate with the higher spirit that we call God, right? They had no problem being able to see him, to look at him, and to commune with him because they were the same makeup as God. They were spirit and energy, right? Whatever the hell happened, I mean, they talk about, they ate the fruit, or they became knowledgeable or whatever. But whatever it is that they really did do or came into the knowledge of solidified them from being energy to mass. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, I can see what you're going.
And so now they could no longer commune with the higher spirit on the level that they were before. They couldn't see him anymore, right? That spirit was no longer visible to them, right? And now gravity had kept them, keeping them now on earth, or keeping them now stuck to the ground, so they can't be in multiple places at the same time anymore.
Well, I got a different understanding. Yeah, and I see how you could see it that way, but my understanding from reading multiple things was that it was Genesis, they put it in the front,
but Genesis, that's the back.
Yeah, no, Revelations is supposed to be the first book.
Really?
Yes.
I think I did hear that at one time. Yeah.
Right. Well, I understood this through my own research because Revelation talks about the war in heaven, which is the backstory before.
Yes,
where
they
give you the beginning.
Yes.
Exactly. In Genesis, they give you the beginning, but they're talking about the beginning of the physical world. They don't talk about what happened before. So you got to go all the way to the back. This is why they ordered it that way.
Right, because you shouldn't really be reading the Bible from Genesis to Revelation.
Right.
Because that's
Revelation, Genesis, because here's another thing people don't get.
Actually, you should be reading Job.
Yeah, Job. I told you, Job, that means job.
Yeah.
If you want to know what can happen to you on your job, read the book of Job. Because you could be the best employee and they can make a bet and kick your ass out, and you don't get none of your pension, none of that. If they decide to, that's what the book of Job did. Because they said he was his best servant and he was great and he had it all. And they had him on the street and he didn't have nothing. And he lost it all because they felt like. But bottom line, that's a whole nother thing. But my understanding is with Adam and Eve, this was talking about the fall of the spiritual into the physical matter.
Exactly.
Because I don't know, have you ever heard of the demiurge? You ever heard of that?
I can't say that I have.
Okay,
maybe if you tell me what it is, I don't know.
Okay, they call it demiurge is from the Gnostic Gospels.
Okay.
It's called the Library of. Hold on, what is it called? The Nag Hammadi Library. That's what it's called.
You know what? I have that book. I have that book to purchase.
Yes.
I have that book to purchase. I'm going to get it. I have it sitting in my cart.
Yes.
On one of my sites. Gospels. Yes, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. Yeah.
And within those Gnostic Gospels, they have something called the Pistis Sophia.
And I know that. Pistis
you know that
Sophia,
one.
Yes.
So Sophia is wisdom. So if you translate it in English, it's saying the fall of wisdom became man, the physical.
Right.
And we have to get our wisdom back.
Yes.
To resurrect, to go back to a higher existence or dimension before we fail, because falling means losing knowledge.
This is why I gotta order that book. Shoot, I'm sitting here. Let me
for a fact. So when you come here to earth, that's the one thing you're lacking as a child or a baby is knowledge.
Right.
So that's a fall right there. When you don't know nothing, we don't know how you got to learn everything from scratch. This is a fall. So what I was reading was that it was the demiurge, or which we call Set in Kemet, or his name was Zeus in Greek. His name was Saturn in Roman. They have many names, but it's a being that was part of our family that out of jealousy decided to keep us in the third dimensional world to rule over us until we can get our knowledge of ourselves back, to rise, what they call resurrect, to get out of the physical again.
Right.
And you see what I'm saying? This is and I've read this and everything. I'm talking about even a simple story like Snow White or Sleeping Beauty. It's the same deal. Sleeping Beauty is talking about your soul, right? So your soul is the Sleeping Beauty. It's asleep. But it says that the witch or the evil queen, they call her the jealous queen. She asked the mirror, who's the most fair? And the mirror says, you're the most fair except Snow White, saying that Snow White is more fair. So she says, well, I'll get that Snow White. Now, when you understand they're talking about the soul, it makes more sense. So they're saying there's a lower energy or spirit that is jealous that you are more fair or of a higher nature.
Right.
So she tricks Snow White to eat the poison apple. And she puts her in a glass coffin.
Right.
That glass coffin is your human body. So the human body, Sleeping Beauty's in the glass coffin. Your soul is perfect. Sleeping Beauty, it's asleep, but it's inside of your glass coffin, your body. Your body, you can see out of it, but it's represented as a glass coffin because I think they say that only true love's kiss could awaken Sleeping Beauty. They're talking about only the opening of the heart chakra and sparking of the soul can you wake back up.
Right.
See what I'm saying? But it's the same story, because if you go on Kemet, they talk about Set, or his name is Sutek, the brother of Osiris. He's jealous because Osiris is meant to rule. He wants to rule.
Right.
So he tricks his brother, and they say he makes a beautiful coffin to his exact measurements out of mahogany wood, and it was the most beautiful elements put together to make this coffin. So he has this big party, and he tells everyone. They said there was 72 members at the party, and then some stories say it was 12 members. Whatever. This is supposed to be the Last Supper. Right. This is where you get your Last Supper. So he said after they had a feast and a party, he brought out a present, And he said it was a beautiful casket, and he's told the members that whoever can fit this casket can have it. So they all tried it out. Nobody could fit it, but he measured it exactly for Osiris. So when Osiris got in, or Asar, his ancient name, he gets in the casket. He closes the casket right away and throws it into the river. So you see the correlation with, in Genesis, you have this being named Jehovah, who's making a human body or a casket and putting a soul into a physical container, basically to rule over it. See what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying. It's important. If you don't look at other things, you won't see which way to interpret it.
True. That's true.
So once he gets the knowledge, which is represented as the Kundalini or the serpent on the pole, which is the dollar symbol, by the way, it means knowledge. And just like on your hospital symbol, saying the medical knowledge, they have the two snakes on the staff. Once they get knowledge, they realize that he is against them, so they get kicked out. So my point is, think about how knowledge is the most hard thing to get on earth, or how it's usually an effort to get knowledge, but how ignorance is abound. And it's,
yes,
you see what I mean?
Yes.
So these things, that's what I'm saying. You have to look at multiple stories, because they're just what they call the hieroglyphs, and you got to decode these words. Like I said, I'm big on etymology. Etymology has taught me everything, because they say at the beginning was the word, right? The word, you got to know what each word that you're saying means. So the hero, or Heru in Kemet, is your soul. It's a symbol for your soul. So they use the peregrine falcon. Is the highest flying animal that can fly on earth. There's no animal that can fly higher than the peregrine falcon. So they use that as a symbol for your soul. So the hieroglyphs, or the hieroglyphs, is the soul writings. Meaning, because we're in a human condition, when we come here, we don't know anything. The next generation. So we preserve these writings for a way for you to remember your own soul, because we knew as we go further, we would be, unless we had something to remember, we would die, fall. You see what I'm saying? So it got so bad now. Not only do we not know who we are anymore, we think these stories are just for nothing. That's how bad it is.
Exactly.
The whole story is for you to remember yourself.
Yes.
For you to be able to find yourself, to resurrect or get back out, or what they call ascend out of this condition. Because this condition, I don't care what nobody tell you. The third dimension on earth, this is hell, or a form of hell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so much suffering and disconnection, and but like I said, there are higher dimensions, but we've forgotten this stuff. But you got to study. You got to study to show yourself approved. You don't do your own homework. I could teach all day. But if you don't do your own homework, it's never going. You're never gonna. It's like if I send somebody to the gym to work out for me.
That sounds like me.
Get the results. I can watch them work out. Whatever,
I send people to work.
You got to do the work. That's what I'm saying. The homework means home, the temple. The temple is your body. You're not gonna wake up fully till you take it home and you do it for real. So I can watch a movie now, because my third eye is so open. It's in 8K definition. When I watch a movie, I'm watching a whole different movie than a person looking at the graphics.
Or just listening to words on coming off a screen.
See what I'm saying? And that's how you should be when you wake up. You're gonna see things in a new light, because that scripture also says in the Garden of Eden, it says, and their eyes were opened. Their eyes was open, and they knew.
They didn't believe. I said they didn't believe that it was the knowledge they knew. Exactly.
Then it confirms it, because the demiurge in that story, they always refer to themselves as plural. They always refer to themselves as us. So the demiurge says, behold, they have become as one of us.
One of us. Exactly.
So they're saying, oh man, they got this knowledge now.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can't rule them.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to take away the tree of life, or they will live forever.
They will live forever. Exactly.
See what I'm saying? This is what they don't teach in church.
Mm-hmm.
Because the guys, like you said, they don't understand the scripture.
Yep.
So what's
and
important?
The ones who do understand, they charge them they're charging them to tell them what it actually
it really is. Yeah, in these secret societies, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're sworn to secrecy.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you understand, you can't share it now.
Right. Exactly.
Your tongue is tied. So, but bottom line, the serpent in that story was the actual hero. People don't understand that. This is why they don't give you any backstory of the serpent in the garden. Because if they gave you the backstory, you would know that that was the hero. That was actually the form that Isis took. Yep, you got to read the old. Yes, she took the form of a serpent to save the humans from eternal damnation. Because without the knowledge, we would be reincarnation. We would be stuck, just like the animals are.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, an animal can't access their higher consciousness. They don't have it. They have it's like a form of a program. So we call it instincts.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a programming where there's a limit with animals. They don't have a higher self like you. But you, as a human, you have access to the 12th dimension, which is what we call imagination. And that is a God-like, see what I'm saying? That's higher than this world. So when you access that, you can override your human nature.
Yeah, exactly.
Your body's like, I want to do this and that. But you have the ability.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
And they word it in terms of manifestation. Now all of a sudden manifestation becomes the word of the day, but they're still not telling you how you're supposed to go about this manifestation.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right. They leave you in the dark.
They still keep it on the base level. That makes it almost impossible for the average person to manifest anything. Because we don't know how to use our soul energy to do anything.
That's right. And the women, you guys have the more authentic soul. Believe it or not. The woman, see, you guys, just like you can manifest and bring a physical vessel into the earth, you guys, they call it the solar, they call it the solar plexus. The solar plexus is in the stomach area or the abdomen. You women have the most powerful access to the solar plexus. That's why you can manifest things at will if you knew how to use it.
True.
You see what I'm saying? But they don't want to teach, because if you read your Bible, they even say that women can't even speak in church. They don't talk about that. So they relegated the woman to remove her power down to like lower than a man in your Bible. This is why you got to, like I said, come out of it. Understand it's written in the perspective of the person writing it. So these are the people who conquered or came in an area. They're not going to write it in your favor. They're going to write it against your favor.
Exactly.
So it's like expecting your enemy to give you praise and say that how great you were. No, they're not. They're going to say, oh, they want nothing.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, it's very powerful once you know what you're working with, because you're going to be able to see each story in the Bible. You got to know the context of the book, and you got to know how to decode that book. So
I'm still learning.
Yeah. I'm just speaking in general.
And you have to come back. You have to come back every day so I can learn more. Every day. You gotta have a time that is ISON time. And
yes, I agree with that.
Y'all are funny. But bottom line, this comes from, like I said, I didn't get this overnight. I wanted the truth so bad. I was willing to go as far as it took. And I was willing to question the preachers. I was willing to question the scientists. I was willing to question the people teaching the esoteric knowledge until I found myself. I said, oh, wow. This is what they're really talking about and why they don't want us to know. Because if you know the
we'd be
sleeping
so
giant,
powerful. Oh my God,
it's
we
a
don't even
wrap.
know our power. We don't know our power. That's why, you know, they 333, which once again comes back to 9, is taking your power back. That's your power number.
Yes.
So you take
Uniting it.
you take your power back. So guys, a lot of you might be seeing like triple numbers and so on and so forth. 333, you see that? You call your power back to yourself.
Yes.
Take your power back. Speak it out there. I'm calling my power back.
That's right.
You
You can
know?
command. Because
Yeah.
that whole template, if you understand, because they didn't even give Jesus his own book because it would have been too powerful.
It would have been too. Tell me
So,
something.
yeah.
I mean, okay. Once again, you know, the Bible, you know, as everybody likes to say, the Bible is a book of allegories and so on and so
It
forth,
is.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You have Matthew, Mark, Luke, John.
Yep.
The what is that? The 4 Gospels or whatever, or
Mm-hmm.
the 3 Gospels and the book of John.
You remember it well.
I do. It wasn't very long ago.
Right. No, that's all good. It's
It
about
is what
going
it
back and
is.
revisit. See, this is the thing. It's about perspective because
Yeah.
you could see it and you could memorize it, but once you see it in the correct way, it's
Right.
a whole
Right.
different. Because there was a phase in my time when I was researching where I just totally dismissed the Bible because I was like, it don't make sense. But I
Mm-hmm.
was leaning on the interpretations of others who
Right.
didn't understand. When I asked
Right.
my higher self and I asked the universe to reveal it to me,
Mm-hmm.
then I said, oh my God, this makes too much sense now.
Exactly.
If you understand that the creator of the physical was the, wait, is somebody with their music outside? If you understand that the creator of the physical is the problem, or what they call Satan, which means your opponent or enemy, then it makes all the sense about why knowledge was forbidden, why you can
Right.
never know the difference between good and evil. Because
Right.
once you have that, you can see now, and no one can trick you. Think about it.
Right.
The only way you've been
Right.
tricked is when you don't have knowledge, right? I'm talking about anything.
Mm-hmm.
If you got the knowledge, I can't deceive you. Like, you know, like you know your
Exactly.
colors, right? You know red
Exactly.
from green. I can't come and tell you green is red. You be like, no, I know that's not red. So it
Exactly.
only happens when you don't know. And that's what I'm saying. That's what the demiurge or the devil or Satan or whoever you want to call the demiurge, their biggest problem is knowledge. That's
Right.
why it was forbidden. But they didn't tell you why and how did that tree get there? Why? Who was the serpent? They didn't tell you the name. They just said the serpent. Think about that.
Exactly.
See how they hide the names?
Exactly. The serpent. And then they
But
just
they named Jehovah.
right. They conveniently give you the impression that the serpent was Lucifer.
Yeah. And check this out. This is why you got to know, like I said, etymology. Etymology shows you the original root language and what that word meant. If you
Yeah.
don't know this,
Mm-hmm.
you will never know what they're
That's
really
right.
saying. So when they say Lucifer, everybody gets scared, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lucifer in English is
Mm-hmm.
light.
I know.
So if I said light,
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't jump and go run to the kitchen, right? If I said light,
Right.
you'd be like, oh, what light? What are you talking about? The light?
Mm-hmm.
The light outside? No. So in Latin, the word light is Lucifer. In
Yeah.
Latin, it's just light, but
Mm-hmm.
it's actually talking about the bearer of the light.
Yes.
So they're talking about you, the light of your soul.
Mm-hmm.
It's just light. But keep in mind, this is the problem with the translations. They leave certain words in their root language to make us think there's something else.
But you're right. They make you think it's something else, and then they teach it as something else.
Thank you, because they
You
don't see
understand? So
exactly.
right, and we kind of had this discussion last week. What was it? Last week, Monday, we did a show. Our morning show was talking about the religion and so on and so forth. And I made a comment, which is a general comment most people make as far as comparing. And when you compare how they describe Jesus in the New Testament, It's the same thing that as how they describe Lucifer in the Old Testament.
Thank you, because Jesus is Lucifer.
Okay.
But here's the problem. Here's the problem. You speak in Latin still, which it was untranslated when the rest of it was in English. So they read the scripture in English, da 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 happened, and then they say, but Lucifer fell from heaven. No. Translate that too in English. It should say, light, the light fell from heaven. Jesus says that I am the light of the world. Guess what that is in Latin?
I am the Lucifer of the world.
See that? Yeah. Actually, in Latin, it would be
I am Lucifer.
It would be per ego Lucifer.
Okay.
Per ego Lucifer. Ego is I. It means I. Light is Lucifer. So when you hear that, oh God, oh, that's the devil. They didn't told you that your own soul or your own light
is the devil.
Is the devil, because you're not understanding the language. Right. You've heard that they've demonized that word. Yes. It's not even an English word. You see what I'm saying? This is the problem. Like I said, if you don't study yourself, you're going to be scared of yourself.
That's true.
Think about this. They tell you scared of the dark, and you dark skinned. Think about that. You scared of the dark.
You're scared of yourself.
You are scared of yourself. Then when you went to school, didn't they tell you the little song, "This little light of mine, I'ma let it shine, let it shine." Guess what that is? The light, the soul. So when they tell you the soul or the light fell from heaven, they're talking about our soul fell into the physical. So this is what Jesus represents. He represents the soul of man. That's why he says, I am the Son of God. Son in Latin and in Spanish is soul, S-O-L. This is why the sun, they call it solar power.
Right.
Son, the Son, I am the Son of God. You are the Son. The Son of God is in all of us. They call that being a person. If you have a soul, they call you a person. It means you have a son.
Exactly.
So, you see what I'm saying? So it's about the story of Jesus. If you understand it and take and see it as allegory of your soul, it makes perfect sense. So check this out.
Yes.
So then Jesus, which is your soul, got crucified. Right? So that's representing the soul got put or nailed to a body. They show his arms and hands nailed to a cross. Your human body is called the crux, the cross. The cross is your skeleton. So your soul got crucified or nailed to this human body. So now you're suffering. So then you have to bear your cross, right? They show him carrying the cross on his back and he's getting whipped. As you carry, so you are a soul, but when you carry this body, this cross, as you go through life, you get the whips and the beat. It's saying going through this physical experience
manifestation
is a whipping. But the power in that story is that Jesus resurrected off of the cross. Well, he came off of the cross. He ascended off the cross. They're talking about your soul
stepping out of this
physical hell or prison and going back to your home, which they call source, or in church they call it heaven, but it's a higher place, a higher dimension where there's unity and there's not division. Now that story is very powerful, but if you see it as a white man wearing sandals,
you're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
And sorry, I don't want to step on your toes.
No, it's some deep stuff. But once you see it.
Yeah, because when you think about it, and me and Lance, we had this conversation, about power, right?
Yes.
And when you look at the miracles or the things that Jesus, Isis, the things that entity was able to do during their time, right? The powerful things that they were able to do, right?
Yep.
What did he say? That we that are looking at him create these miracles or bring these things to pass, right?
Can do higher things.
We have the ability to do greater, to do more.
Yes.
Right?
Why ain't this preached?
Because
why ain't this preached?
because
Yep.
when the disciples, when the followers were going around and doing these things, and the so-called Jews, right, the same ones that nailed him to the cross, when they saw that even though they had what they thought killed him, right, that his own followers were now performing the things that he was doing, they forbade them to use his name, which we know his name is not Jesus, because he had the name that he had the power in it to do the things that he was saying we would be able to do, because once he was no longer bound to that physical form, he was now able to be incorporated into everybody.
That's right.
Right? And give everyone the ability to perform these greater miracles.
Correct. Yeah.
So they forbade them from using the one thing that would give them that power, and that's his name. And we don't seem to know what his name is.
No, we don't. Not
Because
anymore.
we can't curse in his name.
Yep.
You understand?
Guess what his name is?
What?
Your name.
My name.
Your name.
But what is my name? Because I've been given a
you have to create your own name. That's why I go by Iceland. See, listen, all the people who go to church, right? They talk about the conversion, meaning once you awaken to your higher self, you're supposed to create a new name. You're not supposed to go by the slave master's name anymore.
True.
Just like Paul became Saul.
You know what? I don't even want to talk about him because I feel like he's a joke.
Yeah, no, these are see, that's what I'm saying. Once you understand their allegories, it's just like if I talked about Cinderella to you, right? Automatically, when I say the name Cinderella, you say, wait, that wasn't really a person. You understand that, right? The concept.
Yeah.
Cinderella was not a historical figure.
Right.
This is how you got to look at the Bible. If they were historical characters, they would have had first and last names. Understand that?
True.
They're just first names.
True.
The book of Moses, the book of Jesus. Jesus who? Jesus of Nazareth.
Who? Right.
Jesus of Nazareth. That's not a name. Or Jesus Christ. That's a title. Jesus Christ is a title. You could be
exactly.
A Christ. Exactly. The Christ means the crown chakra being activated. Then you become a Christ because your third eye is in the crown.
Open. Right.
So you could be a Christ. I could be a Christ. Anyone could be a Christ once their crest or their crown is activated. Now your name is whatever it is, the Christ, because you are enlightened now. You are out of your lower mind and you got wisdom and knowledge.
Exactly.
So they were talking about us.
Right.
Understand that. See what I'm saying? So when you pray, check this out. You should do this. Just try it. The next time you pray in your own name and not your slave master name. You pray in your own name and your own intention, and then you say amen, which is amen. Which they always referenced amen.
Yes.
Because
and the regular
amen is the activator.
There you go.
The activator. What's the activator? The word amen translated means the hidden. The hidden. That which is unmanifest, right? So the manifest you can see. The hidden is unmanifest, but it still exists. Just like your thoughts, right? You can think about 1,000 things, but until you put them in a physical format, they're not manifest. But the power is not in the manifest, it's in the unmanifest. So when they used to say Amen Ra, Ra meant the sun. And Amen Ra meant the hidden sun. So when you say in Jesus' name, Amen, you're saying Jesus, which is Zeus. I'm saying the name is Zeus, not the character.
Right.
When you say Jesus, Amen, you are giving power to Zeus. So you need to replace Jesus and put your name in there. In your name, Amen.
Right.
the unmanifest, and then therefore you are doing like Jesus did in the story, and you are commanding things in your
To
own
come
name,
in your exactly.
but they don't
Then
want you to know that. So you see, that's a lot of power. Think about that.
listen, Mr. Ison, I'm not saying it again. Let me speak it in my language. All
Yeah.
right. Me not saying it again. Me I tell you right now, say I'll come back here.
Okay.
Yeah, come back. I'm gonna make
For
sure say
sure.
you
If
come back
Lance,
every day this week. Every day this week. Figure out a time. Figure out a
for
time.
sure.
Make a
I'm gonna check
time.
my schedule.
Let me tell
Check
you
your
something.
schedule.
When he called and I saw his name in the phone, I was on the other side of my work table, my computer table.
Mm-hmm.
And I have all these little stands that hold things up and hold it around me. So it's like the cockpit of a small plane. I couldn't reach through everything. I ran around and damn near leaped for the daggone thing. And you know how sometimes when you want to make sure that you get through with the person because you see it now, the phone rang a couple times and they might hang up. Man, I hit that button so fast. I was like, he's too scared. I'm sorry. No means for disrespect. Before I even greet him, I said, man, you gonna do a show soon, right? That's the first thing. I was in the crackhead. And then the crack house, but it opened again. You open, right? You give me some work.
Lance. Oh my God, yo.
For real.
Listen, man, you have to come back. You gotta listen.
Sure. This is what we need, though. We
yes,
need
that's my promise to everybody. That when the good conversations come, I'm never too busy for them. Because I was quiet listening to this, man. You fed me. You know,
yes.
When they come, it's my duty. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, it's not about what people give on the pocket level, but I get scared when y'all do that because it's like I gotta produce. Oh, this guy's slacking, whatever. And like I said, man, my life. This is my life.
Yeah.
Whether that's what it is, man. This is what just smokes my drawers, man. I don't have a midlife crisis. This is what it is. And like we had that long conversation, this is joy to me. Seriously. I don't feel my age because of you and others who have come on and shared this thing. So now, as I'm editing things, not editing things out, but putting the graphics and stuff, and I play these shows over and over, I'm walking around high as a kite all the time. Y'all go on to sleep somewhere. I'm sitting here listening to stuff, amped up, getting another phone call. When you want to do it? Right now. You see what I mean?
Facts.
Yes.
Joy. What I want to say is that it's really a joy and a gift to be in the position that I'm in, to be able to just be here and listen to this stuff that you already have a little feeling about certain things, but when it's laid out so clear, like Brother Ison just did, it resonates and strengthens you. So you hear what he said about Jesus and Zeus, and you hear Sister Danina talk about Jesus. Jesus.
Yes.
These things are coming.
This is when you know you're on the right track.
For real. You know what I mean?
When you know you're on the right track. Yes. Yes.
I'm
absolutely. No, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. No, because see, these things, I came into these things from me questioning things because I said, if it's a church on every block and every block that the church is in is devastated and there's nothing but poverty and white people don't have a problem with these churches, I said, yo, something is missing. So it's like they're giving you the gun with no bullet. So you got kind of like, see, like I said, it's how you see it. You got something powerful, but the way they're presenting it to you, you're not able to use. You're not able to utilize it.
Yes,
correct.
Indeed.
And what good is that? What good is that? Because if we had the real stuff, trust me, they'd be trying to censor it. They'd be trying to shut it down.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So
it's almost like you have to move in secret. You can't really, people need knowledge, and not me. You need to be teaching them, but it's almost like we have to find a way to teach them where they can't prevent it from, prevent that knowledge from going forward.
Correct. And how do we do that? Having our own stuff. because then they can't come in and say, "Oh, no."
Mm-hmm.
When it's yours, you do what you want. You see what I'm saying? Because they do what they want.
LanceScurv.com.
LanceScurv, come on.
LanceScurv.com.
So,
I mean,
so that's what I'm saying, and that's
LanceScurv.com.
why I appreciate Lance, because he has his own setup. You see what I'm saying? And he allows things to be said, because there's certain platforms you go on. Oh, you can't talk about this. Oh, you can't talk about that. And the next thing you know, you're relegated to pretty much censoring everything that the things that we, especially Black people, need to hear.
Right.
We need to hear this because nobody's talking about this. You know what I'm saying? They're giving us garbage in, garbage out, garbage in, garbage out. So it's all about, like I said, knowledge is power, but it's only power once it's applied. That's it. And if you don't know what you got, you darn sure ain't gonna use it, right? It's like gold. Let's say you had bars of gold. Let's say you was a child, right? And you always were playing with these bars of gold as a child. No one told you the value of the bars of gold.
Right.
So you using them for like paperweights, and you got them all like, you playing blocks with them and whatever. And no one around you told you, yo, that's gold. That's pure gold you got. Until someone with the knowledge says, yo, you playing around with that? Yo, that's pure gold. And they're like, oh, for real? I thought this was just, and that's the same as these stories they give you. Without the knowledge, you're just thinking, oh, this is just some, I don't get it. What's the point?
Right.
The point is you. You are the main character in every story you read. So, everybody's familiar with the Bible. That's why I talk about the Bible, but you got to know how to break it down. I told you Genesis is the beginning of genetics. That's what they're talking about. Revelations already happened. Everybody, it's a lot of people keep saying, "Oh, Revelations is about to happen," in the market. It already happened. It already happened. We're in the results of the happening of Revelation. This thing happens over and over. I think this happened on Earth at least 11, 12 times already. Yeah. If you look in history far enough.
16, I think.
See what I'm saying? If you look further back, you'll find, wait a minute. Oh, it's flooded before. Oh, the Earth has been devastated before. There's been asteroids and civilizations have started over multiple times. You can go into Rome right now or Greece, and you can see the ruins of what used to be a magnificent civilization. Now it looks like nothing.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So these cycles on Earth continue over and over.
Right.
What we call reincarnation. It's just the point of you getting enough knowledge that you're able to break your reincarnation cycle. And that's only through your own self. That's why I say, if I work out, you're not going to get the muscle. So you got to do your own research.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And that's the sacrifice. Because they told you that the temple of God is in a building not made with hands. But you go to church and you call it a church and it's built with hands. They're talking about your body as the temple, because your body has the soul contained within.
Right.
So when they talk about tithing at church, they are right. You're supposed to tithe to go to heaven. But what they mean is give 10% of your life dedicated to your soul. That's what they meant. Not 10% to the preacher. They're saying dedicate, with all the stuff you do, all the things you do in your life, dedicate 10% of your life to getting knowledge and understanding, to be able to raise your highest self so that you can get out of these cycles, these reincarnation cycles. If you don't donate at least 10% minimum to the dedication of knowledge and information, you're going to be recycled. I'm sorry. People don't want to hear it, but it's true. It's called the judgment scene of Osiris, or the judgment scene of Osar. You can look up that hieroglyph. It shows that when you die, or what we call die, when your soul
I do
leaves this
not want
body.
to be recycled. I'm sorry.
Thank you. I don't either.
I do not.
But they weigh your heart.
Want to be recycled.
They weigh your heart, and your heart is, like I said, you can't bring no jealousy. You can't bring no envy or
malice.
None of these things. You can't hold no grudges.
No grudges.
If you want to hold those things, you will not be permitted access to these higher dimensions, because in those higher dimensions, those things cannot
exist. Exactly.
They're not forbidden because it's too pure at that level. That's why we're at the level we're at now. This is where all of these things take place. Look around. Jealousy is all around you. Envy is all around you.
Exactly.
Grudges and these things, that's on the third dimensional level. So this is why they say love is the highest frequency, because love is selflessness.
Right.
Once you get to the highest level of love, you don't even think about yourself no more. You're thinking about others. That's it. And once you get to that point, that's when your heart is pure.
Right. That's true.
So if you worried about yourself all the time, there's nothing wrong with worrying about yourself. But I'm saying if your main focus is yourself, spell the word self backwards. It's flesh. So flesh is the problem, or sin, meaning it's corrupt. See what I'm saying? Or the ego, which means I. So if you translate the word I in English, in Latin, it's ego, I. So when Moses went to the bush, the burning bush, and he told him, I am that I am, he was saying, I am the ego. So you got to understand these things matter. Every name matters. Every name has a meaning. The word meaning, right? MEAN is an anagram for the word name. Name is NAME. It's the same letters.
Lexicology. That's why I said that book, the sun signs. I know you can buy books with, with more that's specifically dedicated to lexigram and stuff like that. But this book has I think it dedicates 2 chapters. So it teaches you, or it shows you how to break down these words and how to, find the inside out words that are there, like the real word that's hidden within the word,
Right.
It shows you how to do that.
Yeah, because without that, we're dealing with words we don't understand.
Exactly.
And that's the whole breaking the code. You're right. So I studied etymology for years because I wanted to know these root languages. You got Indo-European, which was one of the first root languages. You had Latin, you had Greek, Hebrew. You see what I'm saying? It went through all of these before you got to English. So then the problem is you may see a word in English that's spelt slightly different than the root language. That's called transliteration. So you're thinking it's a different word, and it's the same word, just spelt slightly different.
Different, exactly. Who, how.
Who, how, when. So even the word hero today in English, that came from the word heru in Kemet. So every time you see a hero, they're talking about your soul, what your soul is in the situation. You see a movie and there's a villain and there's a hero. The hero is always has to conquer his enemy or his Satan, his adversary, right? We call it a villain. It's the same word. He has to conquer his villain in order to get past or to free himself. This is our situation right now.
Right. You're absolutely correct. Hey, Brother Ison, somebody in the chat asked, what do you think of UFOs and spiritual entities that are manifesting themselves now?
Okay. Yeah. It's been a lot of sightings now with these things. That's because, like I said, the spiritual awareness is rising. These things are not new. They used to manifest themselves in the ancient world. So when you're seeing certain lights and stuff, you got to pay attention to how your body feels. If your body feels negative, those are negative entities. And people don't know how it works in the 4th and 5th dimension, but they have something that's like the police department, right? So their job up there is to make sure we stay divided at all times down here. Once we start rising, it's a problem because they can't continue with our unity. See what I'm saying? So what happens, some of these sightings you're seeing, they're just like seeing a police car, right? You know how you see a police car with the sirens and they're going off? That means stuff is getting out of hand. So you're seeing these craft now because we're waking up so much just like I said last month, they said that's the highest temperature ever recorded on Earth.
Right.
From their recordings. Because
Arizona was melting. Car tires were melting on the road in Arizona. People's shoes were yeah, bumpers were melting. A lot of anything rubbery, anything.
What do you
that
think's
was
doing
rubber.
that? Our soul. Because that sun outside is just a reflection of the sun in you. When this sun rises, that sun rises. When this sun raises its frequency in you, the sun outside raises its frequency. So now they're having a problem. It's a spiritual heat coming out of the sun.
Right.
And it's burning it up. And the people who don't belong here, they're really having a problem. So they're like, we got to figure this out. Because we ain't gonna be able to survive if they if they wake up anymore, they're gonna burn us up. You see what I'm saying? Your soul will burn them up.
Exactly what needs to happen. Shit.
Which is why I told you they calling it the Delta variant, me putting you back to sleep. Because you waking up. So the sunrise, we rise. But yeah, some of these things are being revealed because of the, like I said, the awareness. You're seeing these sightings, but some of them are actually good manifestations. You're just seeing the fourth dimension kind of appear now because the veil is actually thinning. The veil. This is why they spraying all those chemtrails and stuff up there, because they don't want you to see what's going on. You might start seeing dragons and different things like this that you couldn't see because our eye can only see less than 1% of the electromagnetic spectrum. Right.
But don't they say that there is actually wars going on up there between us and whomever is trying to come through?
Yeah.
They have those beyond top secret military people up there fighting.
Yeah, those are archons. They call them the archons. The archons, they got different names for them. They call them rulers in the Bible, which means archons. They call them principalities. I'm just using names that people are familiar with. You got to look up these things. Principalities is a certain order of angel in the fourth and fifth dimension.
Right.
So these beings, they oversee the earth to make sure we stay in this area, this belly. So you know about the story of Jonah.
Wait, I'll be back. Talk to Lance.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, for sure. So you know about the story of Jonah, and they throw Jonah off of a ship, and he goes into this belly of a whale. They say a whale, but it was a huge fish, they say. And he lives in the fish for 3 days. This is the earth. This is what they call it, the matrix. The belly of the whale is the matrix of the earth, or Mother Earth. You see what I'm saying? So we are in that belly, but how do we come out? It's through rising our consciousness. Because otherwise you're just gonna get digested, or what we call reincarnated. See what I'm saying? Two things take place in the matrix, or the stomach. In the womb, the female womb, two things take place. First, you have digestion, which is the breaking down over time of anything that goes into the stomach, right? We call it digestion.
Yes.
The second thing that takes place in the womb is birth. So now you see how the earth works. That's the exact thing that's happening on the earth. We have this thing where we call it aging or dying. That's just being digested and broken down in the matrix, the stomach of the earth, of Mother Earth. And then you have birth, which is reproduction. So you see this happen all around you. The grass grows outside, the grass die, come back. The leaves on the trees die, they come back. It's recycled reincarnations. So everything is basically mimicking itself of another thing. So I'm saying that to say, basically, they're asking about these UFOs and all that stuff. They don't want you to get out of the belly. That's the whole point. If y'all want to see the picture, because people ask, is the earth flat or is it round? I got the answer for you. Is your stomach flat or is it round? Think about that, right? It's kind of like flat and round, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so if you want to know how the belly of the earth looks, type this in on Google if you guys get a chance. It's called the Tibetan wheel of life. It's also called Buddha's wheel of life. This is the ancient drawing that shows the earth. We're in the belly of a beast or the belly of a being. And when you see that drawing, you'll see inside of the stomach or the matrix, you see all of these cycles. You got animals being reincarnated. You got humans being reincarnated. That's what's going on Earth. So there's your answer to if it's flat. It's a dimension. So it's not got a shape like that. And once you understand that, then it makes more.
Are we talking about flat Earth?
Yeah, it was a lot of people asked, is the Earth flat or round? And I was telling them to go look up the Tibetan Wheel of Life, because we used to have illustrations of what things were on drawings, but they got lost, or what they call lost in translation. So now we call this.
They got conveniently misplaced.
Conveniently, right? But some of them were destroyed too. Like when they burned down the Library of Alexandria. That was the most horrible. That set us back millions.
Yeah. Deliberately,
because when we was in Kemet, people think people in Kemet were just clever. No, we had better technology than we have now. Back then, because we were using natural technology, so we could take something that was alive. I almost dropped the phone.
Oh, wow.
We could take something that was alive and program it. So the white people now that are using those blueprints that came off of those hieroglyphs, they can only program inanimate things like a computer or a machine. But we used to be able to program living things like your domesticated cat and dog that you have today. Those things didn't exist in the wild. We created those. Those are GMOs.
Right. I've heard that.
And we knew how to program those things. That's why I said the cat has snake eyes, and why the cat hisses. Right? The cat hisses because we took serpent DNA, and we took cat, or what they call Panthera DNA, from a bigger cat, like a lion, panther. Okay, and we made it small, and we knew that both of those things were the predators of mice and rats. So when we put it down in a small form, this was in-home rodent control. That's what a cat is. Your today cat. We program these things.
Wow.
And that's why I say, look at your cat's eyes. It's a snake in there. We did that. Also, the dog. The dog was an alarm system. So you know how they got, like, you might have what is it called? OnStar or ADT system. Okay, so when someone comes in, it makes a loud sound, and the alarms go off, and then if need be, the law enforcement shows up. Okay, we did this with the dog. We took the wolf, which is wild, and we took some other animals that were more docile, and we shrunk it down, and we made an alarm system, a security system.
Right.
So this is why a dog barks like that. When somebody gets near your house, the dog, he's letting you know somebody's close to the house that I don't know.
Right.
And also they attack. So this is a form of security. They protect. But this is how cold. I hate to say cold, but this is how advanced we were with our science back then. We could take a living thing and make it and genetically code, which is called Genesis. Genetically code a living being to be what we wanted it. So this is how we got these other so-called races too. We did those things as well.
Right.
With your Arabic people, your Mexican people, or what they call Hispanic. And the last people we made before we made white people was the Asian. This is why Asians, they have very similar features. If you look at an Asian,
they do.
You see that? Because we were cloning them. They were one of our last clones, and then we made the Caucasian. You see, the word Asian is still in there. But the last man we made was the most unnatural, because we weren't supposed to make them. See what I'm saying? We did that out of order because there were laws. We didn't want to make abominations, and when you got this science, you have to go through levels of school, just like they have today. You got to go to so many years before you have to swear an oath that you would not use this information wrong and in a bad way. But unfortunately, it was a small group that they wanted.
Is that why they lord over us now? Because we got up. See, you know what, Brother Eisen, now I almost wanted to curse. This makes sense. This makes sense because we're always asking, what the hell did we as melanated people do while all of a sudden we have people kneeing us in the neck, stepping on our heads and whatever. This is where we screwed up. That's where we fucked up.
Yeah, we fucked up when we made. But once again, I say we lightly because it was a small group. It wasn't. See, the consensus of the group would have told them, don't do that. Because the ramifications of that can be disastrous.
And it was going to be bad for everybody.
Correct. And that's what happened. So even though we did make a small group of them, the intention was we were trying to make a robot man or a servant man. We were trying to make a servant man. Like, today they're still trying to do that, right?
Yeah.
They want robots that cut the grass and they do your chores. We were trying to do that. So we took a lot of animal DNA, especially the canine. This is why they smell like the canine. No disrespect to white people, but we took that because the canine is a servant animal. They have that genetic programming to be loyal. So we were trying to make a robot man, right? A servant man, and it backfired because the Moors trained them up because they were so unhuman-like, right? Because they had like 99%, 98, 99% animal DNA. So we have to teach them morals. This is where you get the word morals. It comes from the Moors. So we taught them, okay, this is right, this is wrong, don't do this. Things that a natural person would already kind of know.
Right.
We have to have a code, so we call them morals from the Moors. Okay, don't do this. Okay, don't. Okay. And we did that. Once we trained them up, they took our knowledge and they started unifying, coming against us. And we got sloppy with it. And they eventually took us over. Now, this is documented in the movie Frankenstein. I keep saying this, but it's a documentary about the creation of white people. But you got to understand that the scientist in that movie is a black scientist from Kemet, not a white man. The scientist in that movie, they show an old white man. Just imagine that's a black man.
What's the movie called?
Frankenstein.
Oh, Frankenstein. Oh, okay.
Yes. Because I had asked when I was a kid, I would see all these. I'm like, why do they keep showing this Frankenstein movie? I'm like, they done made like 5 or 10 of them. And I'm like, it don't make sense. Okay, whatever. Like, and then I thought, and then once I see now, I'm like, oh, they were secretly talking about their history. Because if you watch the movie Frankenstein, the monster is never named. Frankenstein is the name of the scientist. That's his last name. It's Frankenstein.
Right.
But the actual being he creates, he says, I've created a monster. They say that in every Frankenstein movie. After he takes different parts of dead people. Right? He takes the hands of a thief. He takes the legs of I think it was somebody who ran or something like this. But he put all of these dead parts together and he figured out how to create it. And once he got it alive, he's like, yes, I've created a monster. But what happens in the movies, he trains Frankenstein kind of to serve him, help him with projects, stuff like that, teach him to kind of be human-like. But the end is always the same in the Frankenstein movie. The monster, his unnatural state, he ends up killing the scientist. This is our story. We created them. We trained them up. They end up killing us in the end because of their unnatural state and their unnatural nature. Just like a GMO in the grocery store that won't never decay. They had movies showing how Frankenstein, when all the rest of the people were dying of age, he wouldn't die, showing he's unnatural. But he started falling apart. And this is what we're dealing with. So remember, all of this stuff is in the ancient world. but it's hidden. This is why they call it esoteric or secret knowledge or secret societies. Because if you don't know, you know how they say you got to remember where you came from? They're not talking about your hometown. When they say you got to remember where you came from, they're talking about where you came from in origin. And we're the only history that they hide that. They teach about every other culture, the Asian culture, the Japanese culture, the Roman culture, the Greek culture. They don't teach about African culture. Because if they taught us where we come from, guess what? You came from God. You came from God. Now, imagine knowing that. Then it's a problem. Because you got these people like, wow, I came from God himself or God or the goddess herself. Now you understand why they got to hide it, because the gig is up. It's such a small thing, but it's so important. And that's like you ever seen, they talk about like the giant that sleep and you have to play a harp to keep him asleep.
Yeah.
That's us. That's us. It's that simple. If they don't keep playing that music. So in the story, Jack and the Beanstalk, he goes to steal the golden goose. The golden goose represents the soul, but it's up in the fourth dimension with the giants and stuff like that, and they're guarding it. He plays a harp to put the giants to sleep.
Right.
Okay. As soon as he stops playing that harp, giant wakes up. If the giant wakes up, he can kill him easy.
Right.
That's us right now. So since we're the sleeping giants, what are they doing? They're always playing the music. They got to keep the music playing. They got to keep the TV going. Because as soon as that music stops, you might wake up and step on them like a roach. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly.
That's how careful they got to be. That's how careful they got to be. So we're the ones that they're powerful. You just got to understand, where we come from. And, yeah.
Somebody was asking, what is your take on the Galactic Federation?
The Galactic Federation. To me, I've heard people use that term, but I feel like that's a new term because there's some people that are coming up with these new names. Like I've heard people say like the Palladians and the Greys and all that, and these are new names like people are coming up with. If I knew who they were referring to, especially in ancient terms, I could tell you if they're good or bad. But these new, like, it's a lot of these new people. A lot of them white, by the way. Like, it's a woman named Dolores Cannon and some other people. They came up with these new names for these beings. These beings are the same beings that have been here for millions or hundreds of thousands of years.
Right.
So when you rename them, it makes me have to figure out now. So I'm not very familiar with the Galactic Federation, but I know that we belong to the Federation because we're the highest ones. Remember, the highest angels got kicked down. You got to know that. Did you know that? They say that the 2/3. They said the 2/3 threw out the 1/3. Now check this out. They named all the rest of them, but they didn't name who they kicked out.
But okay, so here's this again now. The 2/3 kicked out the 1/3, right?
2/3 kicked out the 1/3, but they didn't name the 1/3, right?
Right. Look, because
they said the Archangel Michael. They named him.
Yeah.
They said the Archangel Gabriel.
Yeah.
But they don't name who they just said Satan or the dragon, but they won't name them. Trying to tell you. This
right. But
because
that's what I'm saying. But when they say, but they also once again use the term Lucifer and said that he was kicked out of heaven.
Yeah. Your soul is kicked out of heaven by the archons. See what I'm saying? That's hard because you didn't hurt. See, if you hear something for 30 years, a certain way,
try more than 30.
It's really hard. No, I know it is. It's like I said, if you know blue is something, right? And if I came and I told you, hey, guess what? That ain't blue. You be like, what?
No, that would mess me up.
That's what it's like. Because I said, yo, why don't they name the serpent? Once again, they just say Satan. In English, it should be translated, and they kicked out the adversary. Mm-hmm. That's what it should say. But the adversary is talking about a relationship to who they're dealing with. So the adversary just means their enemy. They kicked out their enemy. Your soul is their enemy. That's the problem. They are our enemy. They want to keep us down here. We want to go back up there. It's a deep thing.
Man.
But it's dealing with jealousy. Like I said, most of the jealousy, it's always more people hating on a person than it is the person being hated on. I've seen that. It'd be like 20 people hating on one person because they want to take him down or her down.
Right.
Because they feel like, oh damn, they stealing my shine. Damn.
You can say that again.
You see what I'm saying? So it'd be 12, just like Jesus, right? Jesus was betrayed to get crucified. You see the story? Osiris was betrayed and tricked to get in the coffin. What's the other story? Joseph and the 12 brothers. They said they threw him in a pit.
Exactly.
Out of jealousy, right? Because his coat of many colors. The coat of many colors is talking about light. The higher light. Coat of many, what they call colors is called angles of light. Color. It's angels of light. They said his father gave him a coat of many colors, but he didn't give it to the other brothers.
Right.
So they threw him in a pit. That's the same as being kicked out of heaven. Same story. So then he gets thrown in jail. But while in jail, he gets enlightened and he decodes the king's or the Pharaoh of Egypt, the king's dream. He decodes it and he comes out better. And he has a higher place now. He becomes the governor of Egypt and he even saves his own brothers who betrayed him.
Right.
This is our story. Joseph is us.
Right.
It's always jealousy.
Yeah.
It's always jealousy. Every story. Matter of fact, you can name it. You can name it. Think of one, and I'll tell you. Jealousy is the reason for our situation. If we could only get to, and jealousy is another name for the ego as well.
Right.
Because the egos are jealous.
Even Joseph's father, Jacob.
Yes.
That's a jealousy thing right there also.
Right. Well, Jacob, but they say he was beloved by his father so much that he gave him a coat. But see, I told you, it's an allegorical story. If you're the highest angel, this is why I told you read Peace of Sophia. Peace of Sophia gets kicked out of the pleroma or the heavens because of jealousy from the angels below her did not want to bow to her. So they kicked her to the earth. And they called it Barbello. They called it torturous. And she had to come down here in cycles. And they talk about how she prayed to the father of the source until he raised her back up. So this is our situation. Think about black people on earth. Are we not the most persecuted?
Yes, indeed.
Come on now. And we have
and aren't we the most praying people?
The most praying, the most spiritual, the most talented. But guess what? We have the most color too.
True.
Think about that.
True.
We have the most color, the coat of many colors.
True.
And we got casted down. We got put into slavery. We got put into jail. We got put into this situation. So it's always jealousy. You see what I'm saying? You just got to, once you get the code, it makes all the sense in the world. Without the code, it's like, what's this story? Like, what's the point?
That's true.
What's the point? Like I was reading stuff. I'm like, it's in every story. I'm talking about Disney stories.
Oh man.
Fairy tales. Because even the fairy tales, right? Why do you think they call it fairy tales? They're talking about fairies. Fairies, that's in a higher dimension. There used to be fairies visible on the earth. And they actually call them the pygmy tribe. No. Small black people. They call them Well, they show them as white now, but they call them trolls and all that. Little small, little. Yeah, that's the pygmies. See what I'm saying? They white. Everything they make white, you got to turn to black in order to understand it.
Wow.
So the real angels in heaven, think about this. The real angels was dark.
Yeah.
That's why we down here dark and we getting persecuted now by the light. The light people is dealing with jealousy. But bottom line, I'm just saying that to say it's all about knowing where you come from and uniting. That's the two keys I can say. If whatever you're doing with your fellow people, if it don't involve unity, you only hurting yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? We can't be one man band.
Leprechaun. That's what somebody in the chat just said. Leprechaun.
Leprechauns. Yeah, but that was the Irish lore, the leprechaun. They demonized it.
But they were
used to call it trolls.
They were small people too, right? Trolls and leprechauns.
Yeah, but that was the that was the Irish version of the fairy people or the pygmy people. You know, they gotta always, like I said, whatever we do, they gotta whitewash it and make it a whole different negative thing. But bottom line, I'm saying is the reason we don't do better is because we don't have good examples, right? So most of the famous people you can name, black people that we got today, successful people, they're individual minded. So like they'll show you an athlete, right, that got in a lottery, an NBA lottery, because there's millions of people want to play basketball. And they play basketball, but they know only a few people can play basketball out of the millions. It's only 30 people on a team. And those people might play 14 years. So thinking they got us reaching for things that's like a lottery. So they promote Jay-Z. He's a rapper, but he's doing nothing as a group or towards us as a people or actors. They're just individual pursuits.
Right.
So until we get a group thing, we have no power. The last groups I seen was with Malcolm X and the Black Panthers and these type of groups. And I haven't seen it no more. And that's sad because I don't know what else groups we have. They talking about this what's it called? Black Lives Matter. That's not ours.
I know.
That was George Soros made that. And it's not a group. It's just a victimhood campaign. But I'm talking about actual groups. We don't have any. We all think as individuals and we all treat each other like we're disconnected. Think about how if I went down the street today, maybe I should do that one day. Take a camera and just show you how we look at each other as a people. There's people mean mug you.
Oh,
and they don't even know you.
Oh, yeah.
And they look like they're ready to fight.
And this mask business gives them carte blanche to mean mug you even more. Absolutely. And then you can see it in the eyes. You know, there's absolutely no softness to the eyes when they pass you. You know, you can't tell if they're smiling. You can't tell if they're trying to say hello. But you can look in their eyes and know they're not even trying to be nice to you. Your own people.
Yeah. And that hurts me when I see that because I'm like, if we can't even walk past each other and the hostility, then as a people as a whole, we're in trouble.
Big time.
We're in trouble because they programmed us so much we don't even want to look at each other. That's messed up. And if you talk to anybody, nobody talks about group activities. Just see for yourself. Whoever you talk to black, they talking about doing something on their own. It's always, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. It's because like when it's gonna be
we don't trust each other.
Correct.
We've been conditioned not to trust each other. So, you know, that's gonna take a lot of undoing in order for us to come together.
Yeah, it is. But we don't trust each other because we're in a system that's not our own too. That's the other problem. We don't write laws. We don't do, so we got to figure out a way. I'm saying the only way you're going to truly be free is you got to have your own. That's it. If you have your own, we can do what we want to do. But we got these parasites because that's what they are. They need a host.
Mm-hmm.
And they just want to make sure whatever you do, you don't unite.
That's it.
Even going to the like, I thought about this. I'm like, you know how pathetic it is that you paying people. They got people now, they're paying people to go across Instagram and all these other platforms to monitor what everyday people you might have.
Know.
Come on now, you might have 30 followers and they worried about what you say.
Listen.
Oh my God.
That's why I pay attention to everybody that comes on this chat. Because I watch other people's channels also, and I watch how they behave on other people's channels, and I watch how they behave when they come over here. You know, I watch everybody.
You have to. And I know the condition that we have as Black people, but once again, if you're having children, it does represent a new beginning, because those children, if they do it different, then it'll be a different future. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But if your children are doing just as bad or the same things, then you know it's going to be the same results. If I plant the same seed, I'm going to get the same crop. So we need to start planting more we seeds and less I seeds. That's the whole point. Because if you have a group, even if one person goes down, even if two people go down, you still have something because you got the rest holding it. It's like a table with 10 legs. If your table got one leg, which is you, when that one leg go out, that's it.
That's it.
And that's what they're doing. Like I'm saying, like look at Oprah and the rest of you. When Oprah died, guess what? She ain't got no kids to pass that to.
Isn't this? Don't you think that's deliberate?
That's deliberate. They told her she couldn't have kids. Yeah, exactly. And the other ones, they steal it from them. Like Michael Jackson, which I think Michael Jackson might not even have died, but that's a whole nother.
I know. Listen,
I'm gonna have to come back for that one.
Listen. When you come back, man, you're gonna be sitting right up in here talking about that.
For sure, because I think Michael Jackson staged his death. The more I think about it,
listen, that man just wanted to get the hell out of Dodge. The hell out. I think him and Prince, they just had enough of this shit and wanted no more of it.
Absolutely. I'm saying Michael Jackson has the best case for it, because I'm saying here's a person that through his whole life, he was famous and having to be a celebrity from a child to the age of 50. So I believe when he made that concert, "This Is It" and all that, I think he was saying, he knew, "This is it. I'm about to get out. I'm gonna fake my death by telling y'all I'm gonna have a concert, and I'm gonna leave." The reason I say that is we didn't see nobody. They didn't show nobody. They had an empty casket. It just was too. It seemed too set up to me, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? And like I said,
and even the doctor, he made sure that doctor didn't spend no time in jail.
Yes, a year. Come on, it's supposed to be 2 years. It was a year. You think you can get a year for manslaughter?
Exactly.
Come on, it was just too many.
And went right back to practicing medicine.
Went right back.
I think he went right back.
Yeah, look at that. Since when do they give you your medical license right back? And then another thing, I noticed when he was raising those kids, or when those kids were with him, all through their lives, he kept masks on them.
Right.
All of a sudden, now this is when he was still living. All of a sudden, when he was setting up the "This Is It" and all that, he started taking the mask off of him. Like he was saying, get used to being without the mask, because I'm getting ready to leave y'all. Like I'm about to go off.
Right.
So just get used to this. So yeah, it was so many things that made me say, this is it. Since when have you heard a concert called "This Is It"? Think about that. This is it. This is it. I'm about to.
This is it. This is it. Exactly. This is it, folks. Get your belly full, because there's no more.
Right, because he's saying, "This is it. I had enough. I've done this thing my whole life." Come on. He probably want to live out the last 10 or 20 so years of his life without having to be harassed. And, everywhere he went, it was, Michael Jackson. So he probably said, you know what? I'm dipping. And he had the money to do it. That's the thing. We're not talking about somebody that was broke. So
Right.
that's very possible. Very possible. But yeah, they have a program.
No, go ahead. Sorry. No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, no, it's all good.
It wasn't, I wasn't going to ask you a question. It's okay. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying they have a program. You know how they have a witness protection program for regular people? It's called a witness protection program, meaning if you were involved in something that it was a case where your life could be in danger. They have a program where they change your name, your identity, and they may move you to another location, even change your social security number to protect you from a case.
Excuse me.
You know what I'm saying? If they have that for regular people,
what do they have for
what
people
do they have for the wealthy,
millions
the
and
famous?
millions of dollars?
Thank
Exactly.
You tired of being famous? And they got a movie about it, actually. It's in black and white.
You know something? That could even have been a bloody mask Michael Jackson been wearing all these.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, he talked about that he wore a mask. He said when he went out, he had to wear disguises all the time. But I'm saying it's a movie that came out in the 60s. It's called Seconds. 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 And in that movie, it shows that there's a man, his friend calls him. His friend's supposed to be dead from high school. Supposed to have died. But he gets a phone call like years later. And his friend says, "Hey, it's me, man." And he's like, "Yo, stop playing on the phone. Who is this? Like, don't call me no more with this shit." I like, he died. Stop that. And he's like, no. So he's like, "Listen, you have to like meet me at this location, and say this name, and I'll pick you up." And anyway, they transport him in a vehicle with no windows, so he can't see where it's going. He goes up this elevator, and he finds out it's a program for people if they want to leave society and have a new identity.
Right.
And his friend was a part of that. But he thought for all those years his friend died. So what I'm saying is if they had that in a movie like that in the 60s.
But that sounds like Eddie and the Cruisers.
Eddie and the Cruisers?
That was a movie.
I might have to see that. Is it the same thing?
Well, it was not really the same thing, but this guy, he faked his death because it was a music group, Eddie and the Cruisers, and he just got tired of the manipulation by the record industry. They wanted him to sing a certain way, and he wasn't liking the direction that music was going, because they were from the 50s, I believe. They were groups from the 50s. So he faked his death. He made it appear that he drove off a bridge into the river or into the ocean, whatever. In the meantime, he wasn't dead, but he was watching the transition of the people that was in the group and how they had to adapt to the new way of doing music. So at the end of the movie, you see, now all of a sudden, color TV is in and all, what do you call it? The Wiz, and those places. So he's standing outside and you just see his reflection in the glass looking in at the television and watching those guys that have now gotten older singing the songs from the 50s. It was a mess. but wow. This is, it's like he faked his death. He just couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, no, this is a real thing. They had a movie just came out with Michael B. Jordan called No Remorse. And in the movie, spoiler alert, but part of the movie is that he has all these assassins after him. He works for the army and or the military, and he has all these assassins after him. And so they actually fake his death. They had a whole funeral and everything. So everybody thought he was dead, but they called it going ghost. So they made a whole nother identity for him, but he was able to live under a new identity when the public when you have a funeral, that the public thinking, oh yeah, they're dead. They're showing
right. So even if you walk past them, they can't see you because
they can't see you because they're not looking for you.
Exactly.
Right. And if they do, they be like, man, he looked just like him.
Exactly.
He looked just like him, but I know
damn, he resembles such and such. Yeah, exactly. You're right.
So yeah, you gotta, I think Michael had enough, but at the same time, it's a lot of things that the public doesn't have access to. It's amazing how people think they let us in on what's really going on. Like, you think they really are gonna let us in on like what's really like happening on a minute by minute? No, absolutely not. They got us worried about a basketball game or who gonna win. You know, some ridiculous, like it's a game. And this is how they keep you distracted. Like I said, you got to keep that giant asleep.
Right, exactly.
If you wake up,
right, that's true. That's true. That's true.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, absolutely. But
wow.
yeah, but I'm keeping my eyes peeled. Like I said, these spirits and stuff that we're seeing now, or these so-called UFOs and stuff, they're being sighted all over.
That's true.
Yeah.
True. Because a lot of people are seeing the same thing in different parts of the world.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because those things used to be manifest. Like I said, you could see them when the vibration was higher.
Mm-hmm.
The lower we fall, the less we see too. There are plants, like I was mentioning. I don't know if I mentioned it on Lance's show before, but there's plants in like South America and different parts of the world that you can take that will temporarily, when you digest them, open up more of the electromagnetic spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
So what you can see now, you'll be able to see more. Like they have one, the active chemical, and they call it DMT, which is dimethyltryptamine. They have this active ingredient in certain herbs and things naturally, like mushrooms. There's a plant called salvia.
Mm-hmm.
Salvia is the purple plant in Black Panther. If you want to know the real plant that they were using in Black Panther, it's called salvia. SAL. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm spelling it right. SALVIA.
Okay.
Salvia. And you can and this plant, you don't have to smoke it. Salvia, you can actually chew it. You can actually chew it. And when you chew it, it releases that DMT out of the plant, the enzymes, and it's actually spelt the same way as saliva. It's got the same word. Salvia and saliva is the same letters. So that's one. They have a plant that they're trying to destroy in Africa called the Iboga plant, and that's spelled IBOGA. Iboga and the Ibogaine plant that has a lot of DMT in it. They have ayahuasca, which is a mixture of a tree root, mixed with another plant, and then they got so many. They got peyote. It's called peyote. That grows. It's a lot of different things, but you gotta go to South America to get these things, and don't be spooked up about them, because most of the stuff you eating now at the grocery store got more chemicals and crazy stuff than this stuff. Because I definitely want to try it. Because like I said, I've done so much research on it. I'm just afraid of what I would see, like based on what I'm like, where I'm at, I'm like mess around and see like.
Well, you know, you kind of gotta clean out yourself a little bit. You know, you gotta
You gotta have an empty
stomach. Get your ego in check too. You know,
I keep my ego in check. It's just I'm just afraid of what. I don't know. I might, see the throne or something. I know. So I'll be like, yo, nobody in here. But bottom line, even some of them stories in the Bible, when they talk about who was it? Was it Moses? Or no, I think it was, what was his name? Ezekiel,
yeah.
He saw Crystal City and he saw all this stuff. They used to, at those particular times, all the herbs and plants were available to them.
Yeah.
But they had different names, in a different language. But yeah, those plants. Because even they call it the obelisk. Right. They talk about the phallus of Osiris, or the direction of Osiris. They're talking about stuff that comes out of the ground. Once you understand what they're talking about, it makes sense. Because people are like, what's that? Osiris? Oh, that's his penis? No. It's saying it's a phallus-like shape, but it's coming out of the earth and it's erect. It comes out. That's how mushrooms are. Mushrooms are a phallus-shaped plant. But when you eat them, you're able to access some of those higher dimensions.
Right.
That we can't access with our normal body.
Right.
And they call it mushrooms. What's
I
another
swear,
one?
my son told me, you know, sometimes it's good when you don't know what the hell your kids are doing. You know that, right?
Yeah, so you won't be worrying about it. Yep.
Because
yep.
He came back and told me he once he took a small square of LSD.
Okay.
But here's what he said. He said after he came around, nothing bothered him anymore. You understand? It opened up his mind.
Yes.
It wasn't one of those situations where, oh my God, I felt like I wanted to walk off a building. You know what I mean?
That's to scare you up.
Yeah, it opened his mind.
Yes, it opens up because the brain is actually your enemy. Believe it or not, the brain, the human brain. You have to access. That's why your third eye is in the middle of the human brain. It's the opponent of the brain.
Right.
The brain wants you to do the will of the body. You know how they say, not your will, but my will?
Yeah.
They're talking about the soul. The soul is talking to the body in those scriptures. When Jesus is saying to do his will, he's talking about your soul versus your body. Your body has a different will. But my thing is, I wouldn't do LSD because LSD is synthetic.
Well,
but no, I'm saying it's got the same chemicals with the DMT stuff.
Yeah. I know
but
that. Right. I wouldn't recommend it either. That's why I'm saying it's a good thing that you don't know
that it didn't go bad.
You know. But what I'm saying is that I saw the video or the little documentary of the scientist that created it, right? And he basically, his intention for creating it was to help cancer patients or terminally ill patients deal with what death probably looks like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because it takes them into that, they see colors, they they're one with everything around them. They're no longer, a separate entity. They become one with everything. And it just, as long as but they had to have someone there monitoring them and
just to make sure
to make sure that they could keep them from
running around and stuff,
floating off all the way out there,
because it actually takes over your vision. Your visual, you seeing different stuff, and that's how I know that's real stuff. I know that's real stuff, and this is why they made all of those plants illegal and those herbs in America. They made them illegal. So you got to go to South America. You got to go to like Colombia or Brazil or the Amazon or different parts of Africa to get these things, because if they were here, you know how we trying to have like a lot of, they try to have a spiritual experience with just the Bible. It's certain these herbs you can take. It's immediately spiritual. You don't have to like it takes you right there.
But you see, me personally, I would have to build up to it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I can understand.
Like in increments. I personally don't feel that my psyche is ready for just one shot.
But I think you can handle it. I think it's just, it has to be, like I said,
it has to be well, I wouldn't be taking no damn LSD. Are you crazy?
No, that's chemical based. That's why
I said. He also did mushrooms.
Now I might try that. I just don't know where to get them.
I don't know where to get it either.
But I know the Amanita muscaria mushroom, because somebody in the comments said like Mario. Don't get me started on that. They hide it in these games. I thought Mario, see, when I grew up, that's what I had was Nintendo. That was the first thing I got when I was like maybe 6 or 7 years old,
Right.
was Nintendo. And that's all they showed was Mario. So I just thought it was just a random game, right? Oh, this is just a little game. No, told you. How did he hide something? Give it to you. You ain't gonna look for it.
Right.
So in Mario, that whole game is spiritual. They're talking about the Mary. Mario is talking about your soul, but in a physical body. So he's a plumber. You know how they talk about Jesus being a carpenter or the son of a carpenter?
Right.
Mario's a plumber. It's like a carpenter. In Mario game, he has to eat the mushroom. The mushroom activates his higher self.
Yeah.
So when Mario eats the mushroom, he gets bigger. Then when you're bigger, you can travel down these tunnels, and they go coo coo coo.
Right.
And the different tunnels take you to different what they call levels. But another name for levels is dimensions.
Right.
So you got to fight these bosses. They call them bosses. On these levels, they're talking about the different beings that
you come in
sit
contact
over
with.
each dimension. There's beings that sit over each dimension. They got names for them. You'd have to study angelology if you're going to do the Christian thing. You got to study angelology. Otherwise, you got to know the names of them. But they refer to them in their orders. They got the archangels. They got angels. They got principalities, rulers, dominions, powers. Then you get seraphim, cherubim, thrones. These are levels of beings, and most of them are dragon form. That's the thing we forgot about. So an angel doesn't look like a man with wings. It looks like a dragon with wings or a serpent with wings.
Right.
So on Mario, he actually is fighting dragons in Mario. Like there's one called Bowser. If you don't fight Bowser, you can't get off the first level. But you got to take the mushroom to this. Listen, this stuff. Listen, knowledge is more. The truth is always stranger than fiction. Know that.
I know that.
Fiction makes a little bit of sense. The truth. Come on now.
Oh my God.
You're gonna be like, no way. But yeah, they hit all of that in those video games.
Yeah.
The game Sonic. Everybody knew Sonic.
Yeah, everybody knew Sonic.
Sonic was about collecting the Chaos Emeralds to become supersonic. Supersonic is your soul. It's gold color. They're talking about the sun. After you collect the Chaos Emeralds, which are on the game, to collect the Chaos Emeralds, you're in like a sky-like area. So they're talking about different dimensions. You got to collect all the emeralds to put them together, or all the angles of light to become the unified light, which is the sun or the hidden sun.
Wow.
And then you become supersonic. Which
oh
means
my God.
super soul.
I mean,
crazy.
Jesus.
And then you got to collect the gold rings.
What is this now? 35 years later, I'm learning this.
It don't. Hey, as long as you got it, it don't matter. You know what I mean? You can't look at it like that.
I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
You know, my kids playing Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
You know, playing Mario and playing Sonic and playing this and that. You know, the baby fighting with the older one because he wants to play too.
You know what I mean? And they hiding it. They give it to the kids. See, that's what I said. If I want to hide something important, that's what I would do. I would hide it in something that is considered nothing, because nobody would look for it.
Right.
I wouldn't hide it in something important.
True.
That's why they talk about the soul, or the story of Jesus in Bethlehem, that they hid him in a manger, because ain't nobody. Listen, if you're looking for the Christ, they said King Herod was looking for the Savior.
Yeah.
You're gonna be looking in mansions and kingdoms, and you see what I'm saying? You're like, oh, he's supposed to be the Christ. No, you're not gonna look in no horse stable. You're not gonna look in a manger.
In a barn. Exactly.
You know
exactly.
So that's how they hide. They hide it in a thing, and this is why. What's more important is to read the words of Jesus in the Bible, not the.
Thank you. That is what I was. That is what I was going to tell you. That is what I was going to talk about.
Because he said, unless you humble yourself as a child, you cannot enter the kingdom. They're talking about getting knowledge. because he always talked in parables, right? That's the same as these stories. It's saying,
yes,
if you tell yourself, oh, this ain't important, oh, that ain't nothing but a story, you ain't humble enough. You got to be humble as a child. And then the wisdom and the truth will reveal itself to you because you're humble enough to say, you know what? I'm going to look at this. Even though people might say I'm crazy or this ain't nothing but a kid's story, I'm going to look at it. And once you look at it, these things will manifest themselves to you. And it's so powerful that you will be blown away. Like I said, those children's stories are the craziest. I'm trying to tell you, you just don't know.
I know.
You just don't. Just like what was we talking? We were talking about Snow White. That's a powerful story if you know that Snow White is your soul. Snow White is representing something pure, something without blemish. That's where your soul comes from. Soul is pure. The body is corrupt. So, and then they say Snow White lives in a small house with 7 dwarves. Those are the 7 chakras. 7 chakra system.
Right.
It lives with your body, right? Your soul is in a little house. Snow White lives in a little house. Your soul is in a little house called this body that lives with the 7 chakras or the 7 dwarves.
That is wild.
You see what I'm saying?
Listen, let me tell you something. Hand in the air, who has to go to work tomorrow?
Yeah, we might have to. I don't know how much time Lance got. Lance
is 4 o'clock. Lance got to go to bed. Yeah. I know he says he's hanging with us.
And high as a kite. I'm telling you, like an alcoholic that broke into the liquor store and only was on there for 2 days.
Yeah, well, we know you got a big day tomorrow, and
we'll do our thing.
Yeah. And brother Ison is coming back. If he don't come back Monday night, he's got to come back Tuesday night. You got more people
coming to look for you now.
Yeah.
All right, for sure. I'll try to, stay more in touch and
see what
your schedule looking like for sure.
Yes,
exactly. Man. My schedule is open, brother. You make the call. The show's gonna happen.
For sure.
That's right. Okay, guys, let's give Brother Ison a round of love and thanks for being here. I mean, we have 256 people that stuck around, and it keeps going up and coming down. So let's all just show him some love, because I learned a lot tonight, and I'm so grateful that Brother Lance gave me the opportunity to be on here with him. I am so thankful.
Yes. No, I appreciate it. And I appreciate the people in the comments too.
Yeah.
That were attentive and, really.
Somebody wants to know if you have a Facebook page.
Facebook, no, but I'm working on a site, my own site, and it's gonna be called truthseekers.com.
Okay.
So if y'all wanna.
No, you'll be back. You'll be back. So I mean,
I'll be back.
As you move forward with that, you can promote it.
Yes.
For sure.
We definitely will. Trust me.
Yeah. No, I appreciate the people in the comments. Appreciate you, Brother Lance.
Oh, it's an honor, brother.
And everybody on the platform, definitely.
Yes. Thank you.
Thumbs it up and YouTube that the algorithms can't be smashed. We're gonna keep pushing this out there. Share it with everyone.
Yes. Share. I haven't even asked them to share in a long time. I can't even type it anymore.
We get the benefit of all the years that you've researched and studied and can put it together like this, man, because like I said, the first 2 minutes of the show, we played a little music. And within 5 minutes of that, you were just dropping it. You came swinging. This was
I
like
know.
I'm like,
I was like, oh, damn. Exactly.
We ain't even no warming up, huh? Just come with the
but that's the way I like it, man.
You see,
that's the way I like it.
Guys, listen, family, everybody that's here. I mean, nobody had their notebook and pen, but the next time you see a banner that says Brother Ison, make sure you have your notebook and your pen. Okay, and if you and timestamp anything you need to go back and listen to, because it went by too fast.
Yeah, time flies.
Yeah, timestamp it. So just make sure.
Exist at this point.
I know.
Time doesn't exist. It's almost like we'll get on And wherever the clock is, a finger comes out real quick and goes, oh, 3 hours.
True.
How quick it goes.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, my gosh, I can't. It feels like you just started.
Yeah, and that's the energy. That's what I'm saying. That's that. It's activate. It's inside of you. That's what I'm saying. When you know you're getting the right thing, your soul resonates with it, and that's why it gives you so much energy. That's why I can do this long. Because when you dealing with truth and knowledge, you can't help but just get energy. You know what I mean? It's not like
exactly.
You know what I mean? And that's
Beautiful
why you go to sleep.
Goddess, thank you. I'm so sorry. Thank you. We have someone blessing our
yes.
Thank you so much.
Excellent.
Wow. Listen, I so appreciate
I enjoyed this with y'all.
I
definitely
appreciate you. You have no idea. I really do. And I'm glad I got the opportunity to tell it to you. I really do.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I appreciate that. Definitely. We need to do this more.
Yes. Sure. The real food, you know? So yes, brother, I'm waiting for that call, but we'll talk in between. Yeah. But when you're ready, just let me know. Don't even ask. Just say, listen, Lance, we got to do this right now.
For sure.
I have more tentative surprises this week. Yeah. And it's going to happen. We're going to keep the banners going. We're going to keep the work going. We're going to keep swinging, you know, because the time, I'm not going to say the time is winding down. Yeah. The time is approaching fast for our awakening. And a lot of us are awake. Like you said, the sun is burning hotter because of that. See, the more we awaken, the more the sun burns and burns off the parasites. So we don't have to do nothing to them directly. Just wake up. So this is like another installment, man, that you did, and I'm appreciative. I'm gonna let everybody get some rest. I see Empress and you drinking some liquid, and we done talked up a storm, right? So anyway, just say so long, and everybody show them some love in the chat room and in the comment section after it's up as a video. And I'm spellbound, man. I'm bedazzled. I'm over here stunned in a good way, and I'm gonna go to sleep and really run over this in my head. Could you imagine the kind of dreams I'm gonna have?
Yeah, you probably. You already know.
I'm gonna wake up messed up in a good
funny. Yeah, no, I'm glad I could just give people some positive energy too. You know what I mean? Because sometimes we need something different than just always on the negative and on the what's happening versus what we can do. So
right.
That's what I try to.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
All right, my brother. And my dear sister. And everybody
thank you.
Hung out with us. And it's amazing. For those who haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. All of that good stuff. You know, we're here. The work coming. I'm gonna miss this. You know, we're gonna keep it going.
Ooh.
Keep it
sure.
This was a lovely Sunday evening meal.
Yes, food for thought, right?
You have a lot of young ladies out here smoking cigarettes after this show.
You're a mess.
I'm not saying that
more. He's so funny.
You're crazy.
No, Lance. But I love it though.
Oh God. All righty.
Yes. Okay, brother.
Alrighty.
Thank you so much.
Take care of the ice, and yes.
All right.
You guys too.
Thank you.
Talk to you another time.
All right. Much love.